for you new people, I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits. If you don't do your job, I'll shoot you. You get me?
We get you, sir!
Welcome to the Roughnecks.
Ratcats Roughnecks!
Streaming across how many platforms today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like, let's see, Rumble is down, but that's okay. We can work with that. Live from Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the Rational Male. Are you guys ready for Obsession? Are you obsessed with this? I'm gonna rustle some jimmies today. Actually, Kyle and I are going to wrestle. Kyle knows more about this movie than I do. I came in here thinking I some shit. I don't. Oh, my God. Oh, I apologize in advance for all of these videos I chose because they all kind of fit a similar theme.
What's the guy that wrote the book about being mean to girls?
Mystery.
My first roommate in LA read this book. It transformed his entire life. Millions of men followed this as Bible, including my first roommate in Los Angeles. I shit on it heavily to his face because I was like, this is the dumbest. This book is stupid. This is gross. This is also disingenuous and phony. He would get so many women from it.
It's insert nervous laughter. Excuse me. Insert nervous fat guy's laughter.
It was unbelievable.
It's crazy.
It blew my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't let that music slide. This is on Instagram, by the way. This is another shining example of her Instagram versus his Instagram.
Green line theory.
There we go. Yeah, I was going to say. Well, I have shown you guys the one picture of Messi and Ronaldo and the rest of them where it's and people go, oh, well, those guys, that's just because they're famous people. And no, this is actually pretty far reaching. It just was just another great example because I got run up the flagpole so much for talking about how women want to keep their their options open, and men are the pitchmen and women are the advertisers. And if you're still advertising while you are supposed to be in a closed in her end and closed on your end situation, guess what? She's cheating on you. That's how it would be called if you were trying to pitch yourself. So there you go.
There's no doubt there are many men in this new version of masculinity that is sort of leading that new version of masculinity charge that I honestly think are fucking goofballs, quite frankly.
Okay. Who? All right, children. Who? Wait, here we go.
Hello there, children. How's it going?
Who? Who is doing this? Who? I expect everyone in this classroom to ask that simple question whenever somebody pops off about some ambiguous knowledge about the manosphere.
Really disgusting. I have zero interest in what they say and how they say it and what they do.
And yet here you are talking about how disgusting they are. So clearly you do have an interest in
especially that they predicate on these younger kids, these younger teenage boys.
Yeah. Okay, great. How about guys between the ages of 45 and 65 years old? Are those guys, are those still dudes? What about those guys?
They're teaching the wrong fucking thing.
Yeah. What are they teaching? Tell me what they're teaching.
But I hate the fact that the word masculinity has been completely exploited and is now looked at as a word that you got to whisper.
Yeah, well, guess what? It's not the manosphere that put it that way.
Tend to be a girl boss because they
Rattlesnake Jake in the house represent
want a boss man. They want a guy who's authoritative and a leader and who has direction and all these sorts of things. And they don't really need to understand men as much as we need to understand them because sexual access comes so easy to young women. They just basically have doors open for them, guys buying.
Sounds familiar.
And drinks at the bar. They sort of think that, guys want what they want, but they don't. Interestingly enough, with all of this signaling that they do to other women, I think the looks maxing thing is kind of the same thing happening in reverse. In this
If there's any girls there, I want to do that!
sense that young men are now looks maxing to signal to other men about how pretty they are, that they're
All right, Jake, this is where I got to stop you. Okay. That's like, again, we go back to the crisis of motive. Why do you do what you do? You know how they always say, like, Kyle, you know how they always say, like, when guys go to the gym and they start looking better and they're hoping like girls will like compliment them and have conversations and stuff like, and that's always guys that are doing that. I get that. I understand that. But they're still doing it for the girls, okay? So let's just cut the shit.
The prettiest guy in the room.
If you were a government or special interest group, maybe international organization or otherwise, and you knew that AI was going to eliminate physical feats, you knew that was going to eliminate most jobs, what would you do to prepare the Indian population for a culture without physical labor? It's going to be exactly what we're seeing. Competition based on bashing your face with a hammer.
I think that's quite a stretch, Tim. Hopefully, I'll be able to tell Tim that in July when Tim is out here, July 4th through July 10th. We've arranged that, not us personally, but I got that done with Tyus from Origin Studios. So there's a chance that I might be doing Tim Pool again. So that'd be great.
Man is not certain about the woman he's with. Everything, and I mean everything, will go wrong. Certainty is one of the most important traits a man can embody.
Really?
Because when he's certain about the woman he's with, and I don't mean some kind of, yeah, I like her, she's my girlfriend. Not that bullshit. That's immature. I'm talking about, she's my woman.
She's my woman.
Rest of my life, I'm devoted to her. She's the one. That kind of...
She's the one. She's my soulmate. I have found this precious pearl out of billions and billions of other pebbles in the beach sand.
Certainty. Yes. That feels so safe. It's so magnetic. It's so powerful.
I wonder how many motherfuckers said, you know what? I am so certain I'm going to marry this bitch. And then she's sitting across the table from him when they're negotiating like the divorce terms. my magic pearl of high quality.
Not just about relationships. When a man embodies this in
pearl of what is it? Incalculable value.
Purpose, about his path, his direction in life, the vision he has, what he wants to create.
Yes, I am the artist, and she is my muse.
It's so incredibly magnetic. For such a man, all doors open.
This guy's been like watching The Notebook way too long.
Certainty is one of the most attractive traits, and it goes beyond just being attractive.
Incels, how certain have you been that anime girl that you love so much is the one?
In a man, be certain about the woman you're with. Be certain about the path you're choosing, the direction.
Because you will go into the universe after you're dead, and you will go into a black hole with antimatter, and your woman will be right there upon your side.
And life will reward you accordingly.
This is Zorro beard. He does have a Zorro beard.
What it means to be a man now, especially with a lot of this like alpha talk, etc., is becoming so narrow. I know there's different genders and everything, and people talk about different. I don't. Just to clarify.
No, there are two genders, Karen.
We're talking about the men versus women gender divide, which is the bigger divide, right?
So there's many genders, but let's just talk about the gender divide because
it's the biggest.
Because that's a hashtag.
It's because they're not fighting identities they think they are. They're fighting realities. Research showing that the narrower the identity, for men and the components, what that means to be a man.
Okay, so explain to me how you what was the difference between a narrow identity and like a broad identity? Like, explain to me how that's done, Karen.
The more likely they are to have suicidal thoughts and ideation. Men are actually saying, no, we were very simple. We need a fast car. We need a hot woman.
Yeah. And?
We need to be dominant. We need
okay.
to be in control.
And?
Now, the problem with that is when you slip, that will wobble very quickly. When
and?
Men fail.
Guess what? You've just described what it's like for every man on planet Earth for the last 200,000 years. All right.
Okay. They fail. They are less likely to sit there and think, okay, well, I'll it's not my identity. It is their identity. It's a huge part of their identity.
Yeah, it is. And Well done, Karen. You actually described a fact of life.
Someone tell me at one point in time that meeting someone with kids would be a deal breaker for them, and they never a woman with kids, gross. Someone literally told me that. Okay.
All right, just stop right there. Yes, I know. I'm going to just head you off at the fucking pass. She has the most annoying voice in the world. Okay, let's continue.
If you are reading between the lines. And let me explain something to you. Men do not care about women with kids. I'm going to say it again. Men, maybe.
Yeah, because we don't have anything to do with kids. You are correct.
Some boys care. Men do not care if you have kids. I can promise you.
Did you love how women get to decide what a boy and what a man is based on whatever their most immediate needs happen to be? That's fucking brilliant, man. How can we fuck with these guys? Well, we don't have the same physical strength. We don't have the same innovation skills. We don't have the same drive for to be as ambitious or to be as to drive ourselves on to bigger and better things and greater things. How can we fuck with these guys? Oh, I know. Let's psyop them into letting them know what a man is and what a boy is.
Promise you. So if you are listening and you have kids and you're scared to get a divorce or leave a relationship because you're a mom, get that out of your head. Men do not care. And if we
why would they? Why would they? Right? Yes.
Turn this into a clip and we post this, and some douchebag men on Instagram are like,
wait a minute. Hello?
Hold on.
Who, me?
I would never date He's a little fucking boy. That's a little boy. Men don't care.
Yeah, you're right. They don't care because they've already moved on. You are correct. Oh, man, I apologize. I hate to have to subject you to Mark Manson.
Pierce says that the dating market is rigged against men. Here's what the data actually shows. On dating apps, men match at significantly lower rates. Men initiate more.
Let me back it up.
The Manosphere says that the dating market is rigged against men. Here's what the data actually shows. On dating.
Okay. The Manosphere is a very broad place, Mark. Who is saying this, first of all? Let's just why can't people just be specific? Who is saying this?
Dating apps, men match at significantly lower rates.
Well, I know somebody in the Manosphere who has actually said exactly what you're saying. His name is, Rollo Tomasi and Michael Sartain. We both said exactly this. And you know what? We're in the Manosphere.
Men initiate more and receive fewer responses. These are well-documented patterns. But the conclusion...
And you know who's reported on this way long before you did? Guys in the Manosphere.
Drawn from those numbers is often wrong. The data doesn't show a rigged system. It shows a misaligned one.
No, it's actually rigged because the dating apps themselves are in fact rigged. They're tournament style, a dating. You get matched with whoever you have. It's pay to play, essentially, is what it is. We've gone through this ad infinitum on. Let's see, Access Vegas, my show, Mike's show. Hell, we were talking about it on the Danza Project just 2 weeks ago. I think this is you're late to the party, Mark. The thing that gets me is I've known Mark from before he was Mark Manson, right? There was, it's funny. There was the PUA. By the way, there was the PUA version of Mark Manson before this broccoli head. Before the married version of Mark Manson, and what is it? Unfuck Your Life or something like that, or the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Right? He always has FUCK in every title. Right? Oh, how edgy, right? But dude, welcome to the party, pal.
Most men are competing for a small percentage of women while overlooking the majority. The women's experience isn't much better. It's hard, but in a different way. They have more matches and more options, but they also get more unsolicited messages. So they have to spend more time filtering for safety, for
they're on a dating app.
Misrepresentation, just sorting through all of the annoying douchebags. The bigger
So the annoying douchebags, yes, the ones that she went on to.
So preferences, but not at equal value.
Yes, but not at equal value. And the other thing is this, Mark, dear Mark, I know you're going to watch this. No one's using Tinder anymore. Look at the market here. Here's what their stats really say. Tinder's market share has fallen off a cliff. Bumble's market share, Hinge's market share, just go look at their stock. Just go. All you have to do is it's very simple. You can you can use Grok if you want. You could use you just go into Gemini, go Google it, whatever. Look at how their stock has just tumbled in the last 2 years. Why? Because everybody has already realized this like years ago.
Truth here is that dating apps are statistically not working for anybody. They are not built in a way to represent what creates meaningful and lasting relationships.
Yeah, like social circle game, like direct approach, like I don't know, like all those guys in the manosphere you hate so much who are like have men's groups that are helping guys like actually meet women in real life in real time. Yeah, those guys.
They over-index on the superficial and the ease of rejecting people. The research, when you dig into it, points to the same thing it's always pointed to: is get off your screen, go into the real world, talk to a human being face to face, and tell them you like them.
So basically what the PUAs have been saying since 2002. Thanks. Okay, well, now we've caught up with what's funny is like I love to see like you've got Paul Elam, you've got Mark Manson, you've got I'm waiting for Tucker Max to come out of retirement. I'm waiting for let's see who else. David Dita just did his first interview in like years. Why do you think that is? Gee, I wonder if Rollo was right when he said, for 2026 and really into 2027, all the people who like abandoned and left, didn't want the stink of the manosphere and the red pill on them, they're all coming back. The herd has finally come back into the pasture land to go and graze on what's left of the fucking manosphere. Congratulations.
Where you survive. And it felt so brutal. I wanted the ending to feel brutal. The original ending, she just ends it all. But we we decided we only gave her one take. We said, okay, this is the take where she'll survive. It's not probably going to make it in the movie, but we're just going to do it anyway. So let's see what you do. And it's what you see in the movie. Like, it was so
my
raw.
favorite thing that we've ever filmed. I was like, I could do that for the rest of my life. It was so nice.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it too. We really only did it once. It was like, here's the ending where you survive, and it felt so brutal that like the people around me talked me into it, and they were like, I think you got to go with the ending where she survives because it's so much more gruesome. Because you're kind of like, now what?
Right, she's gonna go to jail.
Yeah, she's probably gonna go to prison.
Yeah,
there's $1 billion in somebody's house somewhere. Where did that money come from?
Right.
And that guy who's $1 billion is dead on the ground. Like major spoiler territory, obviously. But
yeah, that was. I'm glad they ended it the way that they did. Right. All right, one last one here. I gotta shamelessly put this one on there. I'm probably gonna get a copyright strike, but I don't care.
I wanna. Oh, when you're ready, you can put this behind.
What are you gonna do about it? I'll suck his dick.
Yeah, you missed out, man. That was a good time. I got another sizzle reel coming up for we're going to do Access Vegas on Wednesday, and it's shaping up to be a pretty big show. I have a really quick announcement too, and God, I'm almost embarrassed to say this. So we have Access Vegas coming up on Wednesday, and we usually do Access. We're supposedly doing it at 6 p.m. Pacific time, right? We usually go. we're live by 6:30 at least, right? Mike Sartain is like really gung ho about doing his podcast these days, which is good news for me because I get to go do and help him out with stuff, and it's we sort of co-promote and co-brand quite a bit, as you already know. But so our show, Access Vegas, is on Wednesday, and I was just looking at the lineup of the girls that are going to be on here. We usually have a list of girls who are already like a week ahead. So because we have to do that, because we know half of them will flake. But one of them that's not going to flake is Ms. Puma Swede. If you don't know who Puma Swede is, look her up after this show. Don't look her up right now. Especially if your wife's looking over your shoulder. It's a Sunday. Don't look at it. Wait till like 11 p.m. to look up Puma Swede. She is, let's say, porn star royalty. I think she's in her 60s, or she's getting close to her 60s. If she's not, she's certainly in her mid to late 50s. Maybe she might be as old as I am. I don't know. But anyways, she's been on the show once before, and she is a riot. Like, she is very outspoken. She didn't even know what she was getting into when she was on the last show. And so she's confirmed for this next show. But so she hits me up, DMs me. She slides into my DMs and wants my phone number. And I'm like, all right. And so she hits me up, and so she texts me and she says, hey, I'm already confirmed for the show on Wednesday, but I want you to I want to do an interview with you for my show. And I go, oh, you're on YouTube? She goes, no, I'm not on YouTube. She says, I'm on OnlyFans. I'm like, I'm flattered. I've never had anyone ask me to be a stunt technician. She's like, no. It's OnlyFans TV. And I didn't know what OnlyFans TV was, right? Because I know that YouTube is doing YouTube TV right now, which, by the way, you will never find this show on there because apparently I'm like shadow banned on it hardcore. But there's a specific side, I guess, of YouTube, and I don't know if this is the new trend, but everybody wants to be a streaming, so they all want to be Apple Plus, right? And so OnlyFans is not going to miss some of that piece of the pie. So they have OFTV, and that's what I'm going to be on about an hour before our show with. But man, for a minute there, I was like, really? And what's my do I get? I know you guys don't pay the male actors quite as much, but how much do I get if I'm in this? But no, she's actually really nice. She's pretty cool, and so she's got, I guess, an interview show or something like that. So I will be doing OF TV on Wednesday. All right, how about them Golden Knights, man? Fucking A. Oh my God, everybody hates us. And I'm here for it, man. I am here for it, man. I think we're going to get it this year. What's funny is I had Sean Kelly hit me up because he's doing these new. He's trying to do the Jubilee thing right now, where you get one guy who's in the hot seat, and you got 10 people. It's one dude versus 10, right? And so guess who the one dude is? Gary the numbers guy. Okay. Gary Ginsberg, whatever his name is. Yeah. GG33 was going to be on, and he wanted me to be one of the 10. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm going to give him shit. I think we try to get Mike on for that show, but I think Mike is in the UK that during that time. So I said I'd do it, but the only thing I'm going to do is just go on there and I'm just going to go, who's going to win the Stanley Cup? Because that's the only thing I got him on the last time. I mean, I could probably come up with some bullshit, but I agreed to go on that. We'll see what happens. I'm already regretting it, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. And Tiffany has already, Hurricanes aren't going to win, Tiff. I know you'd like them to. I'm pretty sure. I feel very confident that the Knights are going to win. Damn, did you see that? Was it McNabb that got the puck hit him fucking square in the face? Oh my God. And brutal. It's like when it happens in a split second, but when they slow that shit down and you just see this inevitable, it's like the Titanic is going to sink. And you're like, oh, I know it's coming. And part of the visor caught some of it, but he just took, if his nose is, he needs facial reconstruction surgery after that. Cause how much does a hockey puck weigh? It's 12 pounds. It's a pretty heavy ass fucking puck. I know that. Maybe it's not 12, it might be 8 pounds, but it's in the pounds. I know that. And so you're smacking a hockey. What is it? 5.5 to 6 ounces? Oh, okay. So it's not a pound, but still, that's still pretty thick. 1 inch thick, 170 grams. Okay. Still, that'll fuck you up. 12 pounds. It's not 12 pounds. Yeah, man. Wow. That was a shot. And I know that I don't know if they caught it. I don't know if they caught the speed of that thing, but man, I know when you get a goal and they have the camera that's in the net right there, it'll give you the speed if the radar is just right where it should be. And you're looking at a puck that's like usually flying somewhere about like 86 miles an hour. So crazy. Yeah, I was gonna say if he had any teeth left after that, I'll be shocked. Hockey puck weight to the face. Hockey puck speed. What's the average speed?
70 to
90 miles an hour. Oh. Oh. You know, I've said this before. I think hockey is the most dangerous sport on planet Earth. I think it is. I mean, you can make a case for like MMA fighting or something like that. Yeah. But you know what? You don't wear armor. You're not on skates, like on blades, basically. You are traveling anywhere between like 30 and 45 miles an hour on the ice. You're armored up. You have helmets. And you basically have a weapon in your hand the entire time.
Yeah, they're like 20 to
22. Okay, so 30. Okay, so it was kilometers. Okay, so 20 to 22 miles per hour. So when you get that impact, so if you're like you're going 20 and the other guy's going 20, you hit, that's 40 right there. Yeah. So yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, I'm sure they are. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, hockey's really the only thing I mean, especially because I live in Vegas, right? But like hockey's really the only thing I like get my hackles up. Especially when like I remember when in 2023. I'm just going to remind you anyways. I remember in 2023 when Gary was debating Mike about like I don't know like the moon landing or flat Earth or no it was astrology and numerology obviously, and then I was like I was supposed to be the moderator between I didn't need to, I was just sitting there like listening. And at the end of that show, I said, okay, because he was like very, like I can make, predictions, accurate sports numbers, he can tell you what the sports are, what the score is going to be between like the Raiders and the 49ers or some shit like that. I'm like, okay, smart ass. Who's going to win? Will the Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup this year? And he's like, picks, signs point to no. And sure as shit, they won, right? And we had a bet. Gary and I, he'll back me up on this. Gary and I had a bet. It was only $100. I probably should have made it more, but I remember it was the last game, and they were just it was in the bag. Like I think it was like 4-3 or something to 7 or something. I forget what the final score was of the last game. And here's Aiden Hill he's sitting in the goal, goaltenders. He's just like this, watching what's going down on that because there was nothing coming back his way. And Gary like texts me. He goes, "Okay, it looks like you're going to win." I'm like, "Yeah, it does." He says, "I want you to give me as much shit as you possibly can on Twitter." And I'm like, "Okay, And then so the first thing I said was the reason you lost, Gary was already in the stars because Aiden Hill's number is 33. And that's supposed to be that's why he calls himself GG33, right? Because that's the luckiest number in the world. I guess. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's his angel's number, the angel number. And so, by the way, if you ever see a chick with a tattoo and she's got like 777 or 333 or something like that, you're getting laid. All you have to do is just angel numbers. You don't have to know anything about it. All you have to do is just recognize that that's a quote unquote angel number. And you're in. It's chick crack. They love it. Anyways, so we're going to. Sorry, Tiff, you're not. Tiff says Gary's a huge faggot. Oh, and hey, none of that on my show. Get you out of the swimming pool. Get out of here. What's the matter with you? Wait, do I have her drop? I do have her drop somewhere. Oh my God. Or maybe I don't. Did I have it on here? I'll find it. Anyway, so we have quite the show for you today. We've already discussed this before. So the chick that's in the let's see, where is it? The chick that's in the thumbnail. There she is. I wasn't going to do anything about Obsessed, right? I really, honest to God, I was not going to cover this because I'm actually kind of late to the party. But because a lot of people who have already done videos and have already used this as sort of their topic, there's a lot of red pill stuff in this per se. And I'm sad to say I kind of like blew it, getting to the gate with this. But the reason why I decided to do this is because this ended up turning into a meme. And the meme, I'm just paraphrasing here. The meme said something like this: your girlfriend's face, where is it? Your girlfriend's face when you tell her to block the guy who quote unquote graped her back in the day, right?
Yeah.
That meme, at last I checked, it may be more by now, but that meme is now standing at 30 point some odd million views right now. And I will tell you, the gold is in the comments. Man. If you want, okay, we was talking about like the gender divide. We just heard this other dude or somebody talking about this bullshit, right? The gender divide. You want to see the gender divide for real? Go find that meme. And I gotta find that. There's just so much. Here it is. How your girlfriend looks at you when you ask her to block the guy who quote unquote graped her in 2022, right? It presently stands at 30.1 million views. There are 11,000 retweets, 181,000 likes. It's been bookmarked, including myself, 24,000 times, and there are 1.4K replies to this, which actually seems kind of low for something like that. But people are losing their minds, including our good friend Rob Henderson. And Rob Henderson decided of course, he can't keep his mouth shut about anything, right? Because this is there's some serious red pill themes in it. Yep. And I'm not going to say he's wrong about some of these things, but he was just he was bent that that anybody would say something like, your girlfriend, how she looks at you when you block the guy, tells you to block the guy, right? And so Rob's tweet went something like this. There's lots of guys posting this tweet. You think? But if they were the victims of a brutal crime, the perpetrator were still out there, wouldn't they choose to keep tabs on him? I think, Rob, you just completely, you want to talk about somebody who is like completely ignorant of what that meme or that tweet is really about. Rob, really, you need to come on my show. We need to have this conversation, Rob. I'm begging you, man. Come on the show. I'll go on I don't care. I'll go on your Substack show, which I'm now broadcasting to too. And then he says, or would they prefer to live in fear, knowing he's still out there and have no access to his life or whereabouts? Rob, that's not what the tweet is about. The tweet is about, let's just say, the guy she can't get over. There's a reason why the word RAPED is in scare quotes. It's because it didn't happen, okay? It's alleged, right? That's supposed to have happened, right? You're taking this literally, and the only reason you're taking this literally, Rob, is because you're a white knight. Because you are a blue pill white knight. That's your instant, your instant response. And I'm going to tell you right now, so I'm looking at his tweet right now. His response is, he's got 60,500 views on this thing. He says, I've seen like 10 different accounts post this. Doesn't it make sense to monitor the person who victimized you? Like, that's not the point. It's not the guy. That's not it, dude. It's just like you think you're in. You think you understand this shit, but you really fucking don't, man. That's the whole point of the tweet was this is common enough, saying, hey, why don't you block this guy? Well, the reason she's following him isn't because he's trying to, not report him to the police or something. It's because she's still obsessed with the guy. Who was it? I still have I'll bring up the video here in just a second, but even your buddy, Will Costello, your boy, Will Costello, was just on another podcast not too long ago. And he was talking about and I'm waiting for my royalties check for this. He was talking about the alpha widow dynamic. That's what this is about, Rob. And if you knew about that, you wouldn't have made such a stupid fucking tweet that everybody ran you up the fucking flagpole for. So it's about the alpha widow dynamic, who, of course, Will Costello gets wrong. Maybe I'll play that later on here in just a minute. But I have Rob actually writes about this in his Substack. And I think I have it on tap here. Do I? Yeah, I do. Okay. So Rob talks about this because I want him to sort of, I won't read the whole thing because I don't want to just rip him off, but I'm just going to let him sort of lead off the conversation here. Okay. So Rob's latest Substack is The Summer's Sleeper Hit is about a man who can't ask a woman out. Would you say that that's accurate, Kyle?
Yeah, somewhat.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
It certainly starts that
It
way.
starts that
yeah,
way.
it begins
but
that way.
It's not the whole story.
Yeah, definitely not. There's a lot of red pill gems to sort of unpack in here. And I've often been asked, like, Rollo, can you give me some good movies that are like red pill movies? And I'm always at a loss because there's one called Blue, what is it? What the hell is it? Blue something or other. Blue Valentine. And when people, it's about this guy who gets involved with this single mother, and it's this really fucked up story, right? It's supposed to be a romance story, but it's really more of like a romance tragedy kind of thing. And really, the guy like locks in with this chick who he probably never should have. They end up breaking up, but she's the one, and all this other stuff. And then when I tell people to go watch Blue Valentine, they either get it immediately, they go, "Oh my God, you're right," or else they go, This isn't a red pill movie. This is a very, very blue pill movie. I go, yeah, it's the opposite that you're supposed to be learning from. Like this is a warning, not an actual promotion kind of thing, because you're not going to find a really, truly, quote unquote, red pill movie. And by that I mean like a lot of people won't tend to think that when I say like a movie or some form of media, whether it's a book or it could be a video game. God, speaking of video games. Did you see the trailer for God of War, the next God of War,
Yeah,
with the chick?
Yeah, they just replaced
What the
God of War.
fuck? like, hey guys, I got an idea. Let's take this gun and blow our brains out. Let's kill every profit that we could ever have possibly made off of this game by making the protagonist anybody but Kratos.
Let's build up Kratos.
Kratos, yes.
To like this ungodly level of fucking like manliness dope shit. And then let's take it all away.
I got an idea. Let's get a serving wench to be. It'll be red. You know what you should have done is like just don't put it in the God of War like franchise.
Make it a spinoff or something.
Make it Red Sonja. I would have been. Yeah. I would play that. Right. That was Red Sonja, and she's in a chainmail bikini and everything. A little bit of cheesecake, and they made her look good. Yeah. Okay. You probably would play that. Right. What are you doing? I'm channeling my inner Aaron Clary. What are you doing? But anyways, so the sort of the zeitgeist, right? The messaging right now, when people ask me like, what kind of popular culture can I like look at that would be quote unquote red pill? And that's one of my sort of pet peeves these days. And I've said this like, God, the first time I said this was I was on the Seva Brothers podcast back in Connecticut. I think it was 2021 or 2022. And they asked me about, I think it was like Avengers or like superheroes or it was the Star Wars, the sequels of the sequels, like with Rey and all this stuff. And I was explaining to them how, you're never going to have a gender swapped hero's journey, right? Because it doesn't work for women. It only works for men, right? It's you could rejigger it so that it could work that way, but they'll never do that because if it's females who are writing the story and the plot, men must become women just are. So that's why Rey just is. She just knows how to use a lightsaber. That's why they call her Mary Sue. She's a Mary Sue character because she just automatically knows how to do anything. Like women don't understand why that's a problem. Guys look at that and go,
bullshit.
She didn't have to learn how to, like it took Luke, three fucking movies to figure out how to be a Jedi, knight as it is. Not even a master, just how to fucking swing a sword at fucking his dad,
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, but women go, well, what's the problem? Oh, you must be misogynist. Yeah, they're going to lean back on that. But the thing is that disconnect of knowing that for men there's a process to become, right? You have to go through from white belt all the way to black belt and all the colors in between, right? So you can be a Padawan apprentice all the way up to being a Jedi master, whatever the hell it is. Because it's merit based, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's remember in I think it was. It was in Clone Wars, but it was one of them in the prequels, and the council would not approve Anakin Skywalker to be a Jedi Master. Yep. He was just a Jedi Knight, whatever, right? And he was, this is so unfair, right? But the reason why he was pissed off is because he had gone through all of this process. Yeah. He did everything he was supposed to, and they still denied him, right? Like that never would have happened with Rey. She just would automatically be okay, stamped. She's ready to go, just magically. And that's because men must become and women just are. And that's why that story plot line flows the way that it does. So when people ask me like, what's a good red pill movie? I can't point to those things. So I kind of have to look at the anti version, like the warning, like don't be this guy. That's still a red pill message. And that's kind of like what Obsession really is it's more of a warning than it is like a pro red pill kind of thing. There's a lot of red pill concepts that are expressed in this, and I'm sure they're quite over the head of like everybody who's going to write a review about this right now. So I'm going to read just a little bit of this with that Rob did, because he is a very good writer. I'll give him that. He says, with a budget of under $1 million, with 750,000, right? The thriller Obsession has earned more than $100 million. I think it's $200 million
it's like
now.
250.
Yeah. And more than 148 million in theaters worldwide. So far, it's the sleeper hit of the summer. But it's no schlocky horror flick. I saw it over the weekend and found it to be a surprisingly deep film. At heart, it's a more morality tale for today's aggrieved young men. A story about male cowardice, female desperation, and the nightmare of getting exactly what you asked for. A fitting table for our social media age. Got it. Okay. First, you have to understand that the idea of the film, I'm going to give you some spoilers. If you haven't seen it, sorry, spoiler alert, I'm going to fuck things up for you. A fitting table. Okay. First, you have to understand the idea that the film keeps circling around. One has absolutely nothing to do with the supernatural. A man wants to be wanted more than he wants the object of his desire. So what he's saying is that he just wants to be wanted by Nikki, who's the female character in this. So what he's saying is the desire to be wanted is more than the desire for Nikki herself, right? I kind of get it. I understand that. But I'm wondering how much of that is like sort of like reading in stuff that may or may not be there. Right? I get it. I understand like why you would read it that way. I don't necessarily think that might have been the author's intent, but if it came off that way and that's the way you read it, then so be it. Man wants to be wanted more. It's an idea that echoes the words of the looks-maxing influencer, Clavicular. So we had to throw that in there. Yeah, get that in there because that's hot, right? Who's hashtag Clavicular. Who has said that knowing he could have sex with a woman is better than actually having sex with her. I think there has never been a more Zoomer Gen Z statement than that statement right there. Trust me, Clav, it is so much better knocking it out with that chick than it is like whether it's. I've said this a million times, right? Genuine desire. You cannot negotiate genuine desire. That's straight out of The Rational Male, by the way, and don't let anybody tell you different. Okay, you can't negotiate genuine desire, and that's what this movie is based on. What is it? How does he negotiate it? He gets the little thing and he makes a wish. That's the negotiation, right? It magically happens. What is it? You know, Pook has said this on a few occasions in the past, but writer Pook from the SoSwap forums. The easiest way to ruin a woman is to give her everything she wants. And then, of course, I've written that. I've put that as tweets before, and then girls will be like, "Well, the easiest way to give a man everything is give him everything he wants," right? And yeah, like I can understand that, but see, the guy, that's like such a foreign concept to guys. Like, generally, we're not given everything we want. So what are we talking you about? Are, or there's no expectation for women to give us everything we want. There's an expectation for men to give you everything you want, right? Because it's this sustained happiness, and it gets back to that sort of contentment conversation that I've had God knows how many times, right? The discontent is what defines the human condition. And again, another theme of this movie, right? So you can magically have the cheat codes. And that's what Bear gets, is he gets a cheat code with the little magical, Make-A-Wish snappy willow thing. I don't even know what the hell it was, right?
Like a little willow tree.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then he goes and he talks about this. This is from a Rob Henderson tweet. He said, the deed would gain him nothing but risks giving someone else something. Thus, being desired brings more satisfaction than having sex. Acquiring acquiring knowledge brings more satisfaction than taking action. That's the mantra of the guys who don't want to go out and do anything. And it's something that I have like sort of engaged with the black pill for a long time. The black pill is unfalsifiable because you're never going to go and do it. You don't fight again. Like, it's easier not to do something than it is to do something, right? And you can't, it's like proving the negative, right? Or proving the negative.
Inaction.
Yeah, inaction. If inaction is the solution, then how do you prove it's not the solution, right? You're not doing anything. And so that's the sort of the seductiveness, I think, of sort of like nihilism and despondency, and the French say ennui, hopelessness, or just simply like casual disinterest, right? Monk mode, right? That kind of stuff. It's easier not to do something than it is to do something. And if not doing something is the metric of success, guess what? You're a winner. You win. You've done it. Let's see. Inside, under the eyes of a docent, clavicular petted a sturgeon. A sturgeon? He recoiled. It's this is from the thing. I don't need to do that. Where the fuck did he? Where was he? Like, was he at like what, Outside World, or was it a Bass Pro? Was he a Bass Pro? They have a sturgeon in the one that's here in
really?
in Las Vegas.
No,
okay. Here we go. It picks up here. In Obsession, a young man named Baron, who is called nickname Bear, is obsessed with the beautiful, charismatic Nikki. He's desperate to ask her out, but he can't find the words. Early on, she tells him that she has lost a necklace and she's desperate for it back. So Bear goes into a shop to buy her a replacement. He then exits the shop and with a gift for himself. A cursed trinket that promises to grant him a wish. And I've seen so many like breakdowns of like the Easter eggs that you're supposed to see in that, like on the packaging of the thing that he breaks for the wish,
the messaging,
and the messaging and who it's from. And there's a Happy Tabby is the one, and his cat is a tabby. Yeah. So it's almost like his cat dies. And I guess we should say that his it's in the beginning of the movie, right? Yeah. His cat dies by eating pills, by eating what are they, OxyContin or something like that? Yeah, and so it's dead, right? It's Tabby cat. So the Happy Tabby. So now the cat is speaking to him from the grave almost, right? It's a little weird. So anyways, Bear, so Nick, where'd it go? From so that promises to grant him a wish. This is the perfect setup. Later, Nikki gives Bear an opening to tell her how he really feels about her, but he fails to do so. He can't do it without knowing that how she feels first. And so, out of pathetic desperation, Bear retrieves the one wish willow from his bag and wishes that Nikki will fall in love with him forever. Right? There's also, if you look at the packaging, and I didn't realize this until I watched some of these other ones. If you look at the packaging, it says you have to make the wish and then break the thing, right? Mm-hmm. He does it the opposite. He breaks a thing and then makes the wish, right? And people saying that's, I don't know how significant that is, but people are saying that there's a degree of significance in that, the process that he fucks up, right?
Yeah, it could be like the djinn, right? You're not literal.
Yes, the djinn, that would be true. So anyways, and then, so I have to stop it right here really quickly, because what Rob is saying, that Nikki gives him an opening to actually ask her out, and kind of he flubs it, and he just doesn't have the courage to do so. Now, the problem with this is I'm just going to say it right now, because I know everybody's thinking this. This is me. I'm not saying anybody else agrees with me, but Bear is the grown-up version of the kid that was in adolescence. He is the grown-up version. Well, I mean, obviously not the criminal version, but like he is the adult version of the kid that was in adolescence, or at least that's what we're meant to think. Okay, because he is representative of this generation of guys who don't have the social skills, who are like slightly autistic, maybe on the spectrum. Don't like, because I saw that that scene where he's in the car and she sort of wants to, maybe he's going to ask her, and he says, no, never mind, that kind of stuff. He chickens out basically, because he just doesn't have the sack to do it. It's not that he doesn't have the social skills to do it. He just doesn't have the fucking courage to do it. Right?
No confidence.
And so again, if the kid in adolescence is the 13-year-old version of an incel then Bear is the 20 some odd, version of an incel. At least that's what they want. Anyways, I think that's the subtext in all of this, right? Okay, so later Nikki gives Bear an opening, blah, blah, blah. He can't do it without knowing how she feels first. Now, remember, she's nailing his best friend already.
Best friend, coworker, whatever.
Yeah, you
right?
kind of left that part out, Rob. You kind of left that part out
Dude
because
was leading him on with bad advice or advice that he can't fulfill.
Right.
Knew he was going to fumble it. Like, come on.
Yes. So, Rob, there was that caveat that would have been in there that you probably should have added. So remember, it's not just his fault. Okay, everybody wants to say who the villain is in this movie, and so everybody's leaning towards Bear as being the villain. Okay, all right, yeah, I can see that, but you know who else is? Nikki, the boyfriend, and everybody else in this. There ain't nobody clean in this entire movie. So
it's a love triangle.
But interesting that you would want to foist that off onto Bear and not say other people in this were just sort of, if nothing else, they were complicit in this too. So, okay. So anyways, Bear retrieves the one wish Willow from his bag, wishes that Nikki will love him forever. It works. Nikki becomes possessed and falls madly, horrifyingly in love with Bear. Now remember, she can still think for herself, but she's has out of body experience, right?
Yeah. It's like the movie Get Out, where it's like you're watching your body move autonomously.
And so it works. Nikki's possessed madly. He gets what he wants, which means the wanting is over, and that's where the horror begins. All right. And that's where today's title begins too. Okay. I think now remember the tweet that this guy did was just where'd it go? The guy who said how your girlfriend looks when when you ask her to block the guy who quote unquote raped her in 2022. The reason why that is a 30 million viewed tweet is because Nikki is representative of women's most innate existential fear. Okay. Not having control over their own sexual selection. That's why Nikki is her story, her essence in this whole thing is exactly the same energy, let's just say, of Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Okay. So because in Handmaid's Tale is a horror story for women. Why is that? Well, because the one fear, you want to know what motivates and what unifies the sisterhood the most is hypergamy. Okay. And having the ability to select who it is that they want to reproduce with. That's why grape is so invasive. It's so damaging to women. Yes, there's the physical aspect of it for sure, but the psychological aspect of it is some man usually by force, took control of my ability to reproduce with who I want to reproduce with. Yep. And it's exactly what Bear does in this movie with The Wish.
In the beginning, when that movie dropped, I started seeing all the reviews and what people talking about in the comments. That's the one thing they harkered on. It was the fact that she was cognizant, not being able to do anything about it.
And her choice had been removed.
Exactly.
Yes, her free will in that respect. She was not free to love anyone else or to be about anybody else except for him. Same principle, in effect, in Handmaid's Tale, where you're in Gilead and all the women there are forced to have children of men that they would never, in most cases, would never have reproduced with. And of course, so what that does is that condition sets up a series of events so that the women can rise above it and essentially kill all of the guys who were in control of their sexual selection process. It's not about politics. It's not about Trump. It's not about anything. It's only about women's ability to choose who they want to sleep with, who they want to fuck, and who they want to reproduce with. And so that's why how your girlfriend looks at you when you ask her to block the guy who quote unquote raped her in 2022, that's why that is so annoying to women, right? Because women know, they know, yeah, I still kind of, the guy that was like bad for me, the narcissist guy, the evil fuck that I can't get over, the alpha witch, she's the alpha widow, the alpha that she's widowed from, that she keeps, lurking on his social media and everything else and just can't get over that guy. They know they know that they do that, or they're more, more prone to do that than not, right? It also goes back to hybristophilia. So when women are, if you don't know what hybristophilia is, it's women have a tendency to want to get with thugs, want to get with dangerous men. In some cases, they might also be rapists themselves, right? Or they might be hardened criminals. They might be murderers. I can tell you, and by the way, it's not just Luigi in prison right now. It's not just Anders Breivik. It's not just the Boston Marathon bomber guy, or Nicholas Cruz, or Richard Ramirez, I guess, and Jeffrey Dahmer. All of them had like teenage fan clubs, and there's a whole lot more, but that we can add to that list. What was the guy? The dude that was in Colorado who ended up like brutally killing his wife and all of their kids. And like the dude has so many women that want to have conjugal visits with the dude. That's what women don't like to be reminded of, and that's what the tweet actually represents, Rob Henderson.
And I'll find it.
I'm not talking about Chris. I'm not talking about James Holmes. I'm talking about that's the Aspen murder. I know that guy. There's another dude, and he like ended up burying the bodies or something under like a water tower or something like that. And like, it was just this horrible, I think they made I think it was in like 2020 or a CSI thing on it. And the guy had like just dozens of chicks that still wanted to get with him once he was, even James Holmes. I use a good example. Even James Holmes, who's like, he's really kind of, looks like he's on the spectrum for sure. Even he had chicks that wanted to get with him. I can show you, it doesn't have to be that. You can look at like prison guards when they want to break out these guys out of prison, or they fall in love with some of the prisoners. They have to separate why are there female prison guards in the first place? From the male population, because they have a tendency to want to bang those guys in the prison and or break them out of prison. Right? Or I forget the name of it, so I can dig it up, but there was an FBI agent, a female FBI agent, who was supposed to be like, I don't know, ghosting or shadowing this like warlord or something like that in the Middle East or something. She ended up falling in love with the dude, abandoning she had a military husband, left him so that she could go marry the warlord in I don't know, in Afghanistan or some shit like that. And so it's not just prison guards, it's just this by order of degrees. It's women fall in love with thugs, right? Fall in love with quote unquote rapists. That's why that tweet really rubbed them the wrong way, because in the movie itself, Nikki has, and this is, I think one of the reasons why this really hits, like it really kind of digs in women, is because it would be different if she was herself and it changed herself, but the real her is still inside.
She would break out.
She'd break out occasionally.
And express herself in horror.
Yes.
Like that's what
and
burns
scream, like that one Scream scene. Oh my God. Because she can't help but do what she's doing because she's compelled by the wish, right? Yeah. But, and you said it was like monkey's paw. Explain what monkey's paw is.
Monkey's paw is a wish that you make that comes with drawbacks. It's not what you think it is, right?
Right.
So it's that's exactly what it is. Bear would have thought she would have somehow fell in love with me. It would have been actually her.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah. All right, let me finish the rest of this. It works. She becomes possessed. He becomes possessed with him. Why would being loved to the point of obsession be so awful? Because real love requires the other person to be free. Very true. Which is why I always say you can't negotiate genuine desire. And people don't understand that that's like one of the first, it's in the first like 4 or 5 chapters of my first book of The Rational Male. Please buy it. It's on, what is he talking about? It's a full chapter, is a full explanation. I've been talking about this really since the mid 2000s, but it's in my book. It's called The Desire Dynamic. And desire requires you to want to do something, to have a choice to be able to do something, right? I don't have the clip, but James Sexton I forget who was interviewing him recently, but he said, I would look at love or marriage like this. He says, I am free to go fuck whoever I want to fuck. I can go be with whoever I want to be, but I choose to be with you. And I choose that I choose not, I could we can both of us, we can go do whatever the fuck we want to do, but I choose to be in this relationship with you, and I choose only to be with you and not be with other people, right? I can, but I choose to be with you. That's sort of like the desired difference, right? And that's why I always say, like, you can pay a hooker to have sex with you, and if she's a really good actress, she might even convince you that she wants to be there, but she's there for the money. She's there because there's it's a contract, right? It's transactional, right? You can pay her for the service, you can pay her for the sex, you can pay her for a really great performance, but you can't pay her to actually want you. That's why I always say I know some guys are going to disagree with me, but I'm always going to say that it's better not to pay for blocks, right? Because you will end up convincing yourself that the hooker really is in love with you.
That's why there's girlfriend experience.
Yeah, that's why OnlyFans is what it is, right?
Exactly.
Yes, because it's just a good performance. She's a good actress. The best OnlyFans chicks are the ones that look attainable. They're the ones that look like the girl that's right next door to you or something. Or she's not like the girls in Miami. She's a 7.5, right? She's a very sexy, kind of fun, cute mid that you might have known in like high school, junior high school, right? And now she's all grown up and she's in her 20s, right? And you've known her for forever, and there's that familiarity. And she's a wallflower who kind of looks good if she dressed up, if you clean her up a little bit, right? That chick will always because that's a more convincing. Like it's the possibility of attainability, right?
Approachable,
approachable, yeah. Like she's accessible, and so, but that's the basis of desire. If you read the desire dynamic, it's a chapter in the first book, The Rational Male. You can't negotiate genuine desire, but there's so much more to that chapter than just that one quote. That's what everybody goes back to all the time. But I also explained in that chapter that desire has to be something that is chosen. And it has to be something that it can't just be. It has to be based on a want. That's why I don't think it's like when people say, "Well, Rollo says you can't negotiate desire." There's a reason why you can't negotiate desire, because desire is based on volition. It's based on the idea that you have a choice to or not to. Right? I think was it David Dita who said like attraction is not a choice or something like that. Yeah, it's not. It's not. I don't necessarily think maybe attraction was the wrong word. But like desire, arousal, that whatever it is, that want for somebody, that's not a choice for sure, right? You can be attracted to a lot of things, but the want for it isn't. And then people always ask me this, and I'll just clear this up right now. It's like, well, then I'm doomed because I can't find a girl who really wants me. But I go, well, although you cannot negotiate desire, there are ways where you can put yourself into the best possible situation so that if the possibility of desire exists there, at least you look like you are who you are. You become an object of desire, right? Women know this inherently because they're used to dressing themselves up and looking good, and because that's what they do, is because they want to be desired. Yeah. And that's another thing I don't think I've talked on this show in quite some time about sexual objectification of women. Okay, guess what, ladies? You're all sexual objects. That's just it. Okay. And you wouldn't have it any other way, quite honestly. You really wouldn't. Okay. Guys, there was when men, I don't have the studies here, but I will look that up for you. I think you could probably look it up on Grok or something like that. But there have been fMRI brain scans of guys who, when they show them like images of like half naked chicks, like, centerfolds or something like that, it triggers or it fires synapses in the parts of men's brains that are associated with tool use, right? So men see women as a set of features before they see the whole, right? And there's a reason for that, because in our ancestral past, or in our evolutionary past, we had to be able to assess fertility, youth, viability, availability in a split second. Because if we didn't, their brothers or their dad or somebody else from the other tribes might come over there and shoot you or beat the living hell out of you. I know this is MLD, but I give credit where it's due. Ejaculate and evacuate is actually an evolutionary adaptation. Okay, it's actually for real. Okay, you needed to get in, hit it quit it, split it, and get the fuck out. Right? That was a viable, most pragmatic reproductive strategy for a very long time. That's why men, like we constantly talk about like hypergamy or dual mating strategy as being women's innate mating strategy. And I'll die on that hill. You want to come and debate me? I will be glad to debate that for you. But what about men? What's men's innate mating strategy? Unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. You know what men's mating strategy looks like? A gay bathhouse. That's exactly what it looks like. No impediments, no obstacles to sex. It's just get it and go, right? It's unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. And you know what offers that in the virtual sense today? Pornography. That's why it is ubiquitous, free. Why is porn free? Everything else is a subscription these days. Except for Pornhub, except for jerking off, man. Except for that, it's 4K streaming. Like you could have it 24/7, hardcore, full insert, full pull out. Whatever you want is available, like for nothing, or if it charges anything, just pennies on the dollar, right? Why do you suppose that is? Well, because it offers the virtual experience of unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. Very easy to understand, right? Men have R selected sexual strategy. We spread the seed. We want to fuck like rabbits because we want to be able to inseminate as many women as we can. And, for some of those women, we need to invest ourselves in them, obviously. So monogamy is not necessarily people have asked me this before. It's like, is promiscuity, is that the natural state of human beings? Yes. What about monogamy? Is monogamy the natural state of? Yes. They both are, and they can both be true at the same time. So when you look at guys' most pragmatic way of spreading their DNA and sending it off into perpetuity, that unlimited access to unlimited sexuality makes a lot of sense, right? That's why men are opportunistic breeders, right? We don't have an attraction floor. Nobody's ugly after 2 a.m., man. What is it like? Yeah. What about that girl? Wood. You know instantly. Like, have you seen? I do this on Twitter all the time. Dr. Deborah So, fellas. Dr. Deborah So, would definitely would. That dragon lady thing's got me, man. I don't know why. It's weird, but yeah. So every now and then, if you want an instantly viral or semi-viral sort of engagement bait tweet, all you got to do is just find some chick that's around and just type fellas and put a question mark on there. Everybody knows what you mean too. That's the odd thing, right? But so anyways, that's men's innate mating strategy. Okay. I'm not saying that doesn't mean that guys are more complex and you want something with meaning and everything else. But if you just distill it down to the most, reductionist thing you possibly could, that's it. Same thing with dual mating strategy. Women want to say, well, I'm more than tits and ass. Yeah, you can be, if you have value added, sure. But in the mathematical equation of reproduction, that's how guys see you. They see you as a series of parts before they see you as a whole, ladies. I'm sorry, but that's just what is it? Nature has a sexist bias, right? In that case, it's a double standard. Yes, there are plenty of double standards in the world. Guess what? There's a lot of double standards for guys too. So just I would say go with it, right? People hate it when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. I've written this in several of my books, and I've tweeted this on God knows how many different occasions, but women would rather be objectified than be idealized. And getting back to the Obsession movie, right? Bear idealizes Nikki. That's what he wants. He wants it so fucking bad, he will take away her freedom of choice. He will take away her volition to want him back. And so now she's essentially his slave. And that's why I say there's a lot of red pill themes in here.
There's a whole montage of him having a happy time with her. Everything's going right. They're literally like a love story. Everything's amazing. No drawbacks.
Yes.
And then the drawbacks kick in.
And the drawbacks start, right? Because she's trapped inside her own body. She's trapped. She doesn't know what to do with it. So yeah, it's crazy. All right. So let me keep reading this here. It works. She's becomes possessed. Why would being loved to the point of obsession be so awful? Because real love requires the other person to be free. Yes. When I have been asked about desire, I wrote about this in my book Religion. I think I don't know. I'm not a biblical scholar, so I'm going to butcher this, and I don't know what the scripture actually is. But remember, it was like the Lord doesn't want a lukewarm Christians or something. He doesn't want lukewarm believers. Either be hot or be cold, but don't be lukewarm, because then I'll spit you out of my mouth. Right? That's a really, I think, anyways, a biblical kind of example of desire. Like either be on or be off, but don't be like playing fucking games with the Lord. That's, to me anyways, I think I've always come back to that when everybody asks me about like a desire dynamic. It goes beyond desire, by the way, it goes beyond sexuality. It goes beyond, you have to desire to do something. You have to be there for someone else, right? I have to want to do what I'm doing. Like when we talk about like contentment and happiness and the things that make us happy, the things that make me happy are the things I want to do. I want to be here. I want to be doing this. I want to be playing guitar. I want to be petting Ned. I want to be, doing my hobbies. I want to be writing the next book. I want to be out at the next Babes in Toyland. I want to be at the gym. I want to be doing these things. I have a desire to do those things, right? And there might be some things that I have a desire to do, but I just don't have the opportunity to do them. And I might try them at a later, what's your bucket list, right? Like I would really love to do X, Y, and Z, right? Okay, but you don't know it until like you have the opportunity to actually do it. So again, that depends on a natural innate desire to want to be able to do that, but it is based on want. Right? I can hold a gun to your head and you will do what I tell you to do. And I can compel the behavior, but I can't make you want to do that. So that's the difference there. So the thing that makes Nikki worth loving was that she is autonomous and that she has the power to choose Bear. The wish strips away all of that. Nikki tells Bear that she will be anything you want me to be. This isn't really a person worth wanting at all. So Bear, played by Michael Johnston, is also upset that his friends are growing skeptical about how much Nikki suddenly likes him. Although Bear wants to be wanted by Nikki, that's not enough. He wants to be seen as a type of man who would be wanted by this woman. What do you think?
I think that's a little too far-fetched.
It's a bit of a stretch.
It's a stretch because like it really was that he was just trying to keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to make it believable, right?
Yeah.
Not in sense that he could pull her. It's just like, what's wrong with me being with Nikki, right?
Right.
That was the whole like problem with the friend group is that
imposter syndrome.
You're getting used. What is she doing to you? Is she abusing you? That's what the other girl, what was it, Sarah?
Yeah.
Was like telling Bear during all these like conversations and shit during the work time, right?
Yeah. So here's this. So what Rob is getting at, right? I agree with you. I don't think that this is really even that much of an issue here. But one of the things that, okay, so guys who don't fuck think shit like this, okay? Guys who don't fuck think that guys who do fuck are getting with the hottest girl they can get because they want to show that chick off. They want some sort of social validation from all their boys in the locker room or stuff like that. Let me tell you, as a guy who fucks and a guy who knows a lot of other guys who fuck, right? We don't fucking care. We really don't. And because the thing is like when guys want to say, well, you only want a hot girl because you want to walk on your arm and you're a big man and everything. No, you know who thinks that? Women. You're projecting the desires or the I would say the purpose or the machinations of women onto guys. Women will do that for sure. They want, because they make that ego association with the kind of guy that they can get, because hypergamy demands it. They want a guy who is taller, richer, has a bigger dick, has visible serrates, has six-pack abs. He's the 666 guy. He's the guy that he's the type of guy that she is such high quality. She's so high quality. She's such a good piece of ass that she can get a guy like that. Yes, for women, it is absolutely about validation. It is absolutely about showing that guy off, saying, look, bitches, I'm the kind of chick that can get this dude, right? But because we still believe in the blank slate, and because we still believe in social constructionism, what happens is guys who don't fuck, who are basically feminine minded anyways, think that same dynamic works for guys. It does not work for guys. Guys want to fuck for the sake of fucking. Here's the thing, like if that wasn't the truth, then why would guys be rubbing it out to fucking Pornhub all the time? If that was the case. And I love it when like people will say like, well, men are just as equally like emotionally involved in sex or whatever as women are. I'm like, no, they're not. I don't cry and go, oh man, I would really love that porn star after I jerked one out and I'm good. No, guys can very easily separate having an emotional investment in a woman and the sex act itself. For women, it's a little more difficult because they have a higher reproductive cost, right? There's more to it. There's more risk involved in it in our ancestral past, and certainly not as much now because of hormonal birth control, and the sexual revolution and sexual mores right now. But the thing is that when I hear this and I see stuff like this, it's like, well, you know, Bear just wanted to be the big man, and he was worried about, you know, how guys would see him, and he wanted everybody to be impressed with him because he could get with a chick like that. No, that's what girls think. Girls want to be able to say, I've got this hot guy. Men, on the other hand, want to fuck for the sake of fucking. I will tell you that right now. It's like the ejaculate and evacuate. If that weren't true, then men would not be able to determine reproductive value in that blink of an eye. Like when you see a new chick that comes into your social area, comes into your awareness and stuff, within less than a second, you're splitting seconds here, milliseconds. You can determine how old that chick is. Is she viable sexually? Is she available sexually? Would or would not? Bam, just like that. That's how guys say. Again, as I was saying, the fMRI studies with the guys who are looking at sexual image, like half-naked women, it triggers the areas in the brain of tool use immediately, and that's just how we evolved. And there's nothing fucking wrong with that. We're not assholes. We're not sexist. We're not toxically masculine, because that's how nature wired our fucking brains. Because it was in our reproductive best interests to be able to determine sexual viability within a split fucking second. That's why all this bullshit about validation, you just want to be a big man. No, you're relying, Rob, of all people too, you're relying on social constructionism and the blank slate, by the way, because we're all supposed to be the same. No, we're not. Just go read Dr. Steve Stewart Williams' book, A Billion Years of Sex Differences. That's going to rock your world. It's going to rock everybody's world this month. A lot of that stuff is going to be very politically incorrect, and it will completely destroy mythology like this. So anyways, let's keep going back to this. Eventually, we learned that the real Nikki, played by Inde Navarrete, is still trapped in her own now possessed body. Every now and then she claws her way to the surface. In perhaps the film's most creepiest scene, she whispers, "Kill me, Bear, please." That is the real Nikki awake for a second inside the puppet, begging to be put out of its misery. Bear hears her but does nothing. He'd rather keep her terrifying and potentially murderous puppet that adores him alive instead of liberating the person who didn't choose to be with him out of her own free will. Okay, got it. Let's see. Okay, so he says this. I noticed that every time Nikki makes explicit or implicit requests of Bear, he always fails to give her what she wants. Tell me whether you actually like me. Replace my necklace. Okay. Now I'm possessed and I want you to love me. Okay. Now I'm trapped in my own body and this is a nightmare. Please kill me. Bear declines on each one of those times. At one point, the possessed Nikki screams to Bear, "Tell me you love me." And Bear screams back his under duress, "I love you." Recall that early in the film, Bear couldn't say that he liked Nikki until he said he liked him, or until she said she liked him first. The film portrays Bear as a weak and pathetic man from the very beginning. He doesn't have the courage to ask Nikki, even when Nikki directly gives him the chance to do so. Bear's internal frailty appears again when he is trying to decide how he should off himself. He picks a gun. He picks out a gun at first, but backs out, opting to swallow a handful of pills, which is exactly how the cat died in the beginning. All right, which is sort of coming full circle right there. So you keep thinking, if Bear simply had told Nikki, okay, I didn't think this, but this is Rob's opinion. He says, you keep thinking, if Bear had simply told Nikki he liked her right from the start, none of this would have happened. No, it probably would have been far worse, actually. And I think that's kind of, you wouldn't have a movie if that was the case. So this has to happen, okay? The main male character of this film was more terrified of asking a woman out than he was of being in a relationship with a murderous woman who feeds him his own cat. God, that's horrible. Spoiler alert. According to the research project Date Psychology, well, that is, more than half of men aged 18 to 25 have not once gone up to a woman to ask her out in the past year, even though 3/4 of the women of the same age say they want to be approached more often. Yes, by hot guys, by guys that they want to approach them.
Sexual stuff.
And I've shown on this show in my clips, in the beginning clips here, numerous times where they have a guy that's going up to these girls and trying to get a date with these chicks, and each one of them says, "I have a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend." No, and just getting shot down over and over and over and over and over again. Right? Not that I'm not saying that to discourage guys. I'm just saying that if you take this sort of mentality and then you apply it in the real world, it's about the guy, the quality of the guy, not the actual fact that guys just need to get out there and go and ask those chicks out. They're just pussies now. Well, yeah, but they have to be the kind of guy that woman wants to have them ask out in the first place. They never add that fucking caveat. Guys, just go out there and ask them out, right? Okay, and you do, and that's what happened. I got a boyfriend, right? And I'm not saying that to discourage you. Honestly, I think guys actually should go and do that. But after you get yourself up to a point where you're a very good conversationalist, you have a plan, you're a social circle game. There's a million other things that you can add to that. But the thing is like the people who, and I would add Rob into this, the people who don't have a really frame of reference to what's going on in the sexual marketplace right now, who have built brands that depend on you thinking that they do understand what they're fucking talking about. This is what they say all the fucking time. If you looked at, and because I like the guy, but I'll say right now, like, was it Freitas? Nick Freitas. They tend to be TradCon guys mostly, but like some of the guys that are, what was that guy in the baseball cap in the beginning of he's like, I don't like these masculinity guys. We should just get back to being real men. Go out there and, seize the day. Go bootstraps. Go out there and ask women out. Don't you think that that's where these guys have been at for the last, 10 years, 10 or 12 years? Yes, they have been. That's why they're not doing it. They are not the kind of guys that women want to be approached by. If they were, then we wouldn't have this problem. We wouldn't even have this discussion. Okay. So anyways, I love it when they throw this out there, because every time they say this, I'll read it to you again. More than half of men aged 18 to 25 have not once gone up to a woman to ask her out in the past year, even though 3/4 of women of the same age say they want to be approached more often. It sounds to me like if somebody says that to me and like I'm interviewing you and stuff like that, the subtext, the message I'm supposed to be getting is men are a bunch of fucking pussies. That's what that's saying. Men ain't shit.
Inadequacy.
Same thing with like Scott Galloway's the master of this stuff, man. Although I will give Scott, I don't really like Scott that much, but I'll give him credit in this instance. At least he says it. He says the silent part out loud. In this, it's like, oh well, 18 to 20, they're not asking girls out. What? So what you're saying is men are a bunch of pussies, right? Okay, well, why don't you lead with that, Rob? Which is probably why this film could only be made by a 26-year-old Gen Zer who fears what will happen when men fail to act and resort to dreams and wishes and magical fantasies. The lesson of this movie: if you like someone, just ask them out. Gosh, if it was just that fucking simple, man. Do you not think that's like the first thing? Hey, I got an idea. Hey, I like that girl. Okay. all cognitive brain thoughts just empty out of your ears after that. No. Well, yeah, okay, maybe I should ask her out. Maybe I should go and do something. It's like Patrick Bet-David in the last show when we were talking about his like whiteboard thing. Well, we need to get these guys to get out there and talk to the right girl. Okay. There's always a caveat. Get out there and ask the girl out.
Oh, it's because you're not going to the right places.
Women are open to it. They want you to approach them. If you look like fucking Chad, if you look like you're hot, if you look like you got something going on for yourself, if you look like the kind of guy that they think they deserve from seeing some bitch get flown out to fucking Biscayne Bay, for a yacht party, again, you're also fighting against the global sexual marketplace versus your very local sexual marketplace. That's the problem. That's the key right there, is those stats where it's like, oh, 75% of women want to be asked out more from hot guys that are in their local sexual marketplace. The guys the guys that they want to have them ask them out are the guys that they see in the global sexual marketplace and say, that guy's cute. He's asking Becky out and taking her, flying her to Ibiza, right? I want to be approached. I want guys to approach me more. The cute guy that took Becky to Ibiza, like that guy, he can approach me, but not Bear, not the kid from Adolescence. I don't want not him. I want to be approached. Yes, the hot guy in the phone cannon party. That's who they want to be approached by. But and so, anyways, getting back, we'll wrap this to this section up here is. I'll get to super chats. I promise you, I'll get to super chats. But the long and the short of this is there's two. I think there's two things going on here. There's two narratives here. One is Rob Henderson's take on this whole thing is like, guys ain't shit. That's really basically what pretty much everything that comes out of his mouth now, and Scott Galloway and God knows whoever else is, men ain't shit. Women have a problem. Men need to become better men so they can solve women's problems. That's the point. They never dig any deeper than that because they don't care to. They don't get paid to. You don't get paid. They don't pay you for solutions. Okay, nobody pays brand influencers for solutions. They pay them to talk about shit. Problems is what they pay them to talk about. That's why whenever I look at and God bless him, Richard Reeves, and hey, we're going to start. We've got this congressional committee for boys and men. Awesome. What are you doing? We're talking about the problems. Yeah, you know what me and Mike are doing? We're fucking taking guys out in the clubs, and we're fucking. You saw going out to Miami and having a fucking good time and putting these guys into situations where they can grow their skills and they can become better, and they're not afraid to go and actually ask girls out, and they're not afraid to actually put themselves out there and be better guys that have conversational skills and everything else. I work with older guys, or Mike works with the 18 to 29 demo. Well, more than that, 18 to 35 demo. But we're out there doing it, but we're the kind of guys that are in the manosphere. We're the kind of guys that you're a little concerned about what their message for masculinity is. Well, the reason why you're concerned about that is because guys like myself and guys like Mike and a handful of others aren't afraid to tell you the truth about the unflattering truths about female nature. If you go and you say those things, then suddenly you're one of those guys that I'm uncomfortable with those men talking to other men about masculinity. I never see these guys in any successful relationships. I never see these guys with loving wives and children. And
they're not the blueprint.
Can I talk? Can I talk now? So anyways, the movie itself, Obsession, it's good. It is pretty fucking good. I will give you that. Now, we were talking earlier about the guy who was the director and the producer and the writer of this. It was like 26-year-old Zoomer guy.
Yeah. He
Now, what did
YouTube shorts.
he did? You gave me the background on it. He had skits. What else?
So
did
he basically did a lot of skits. I don't remember if he did come up through Vine. I think he was a little too young for that. But he was basically dropping a lot of skit comedy, making all these funny things. And you honestly, you can kind of see it, how it works into what he does now. It's basically longer form shorts, basically.
Okay.
Great comedy skits, funny stuff that would happen. He would play some dumb character. And one of his other co-star, right? The best friend of Bear is his best friend too.
Oh, okay. It really is. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's it. What's crazy to me is they spent $750,000 on it. And they're up to 200 and closing in on $250 million in revenue on this thing. That will put him on the map for sure. Yeah. He'll be doing other stuff in the future. That's great. I'm happy for him too. And that's another thing. Every now and then, by the way, I'm pulling for Zoomers. I think Zoomers you've got potential. You absolutely do. You're a Zoomer.
Yeah.
Every time I see I know people give, especially Aaron Calleri, gives like Gen Z a bunch of shit, and probably rightfully so. But man, I'll tell you, man, every now and then I see guys who are on top of their fucking game. I know a lot of Zoomers that are on top of their game that are doing good shit. And then I'll see somebody like, I don't know, Steve Bartlett, who actually has no fucking game and has no college degree and has nothing else going for him. Is basically a sock puppet, is basically own.
Do you think is that because we have the groundwork already laid for us by previous generations?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah, but
well, I can't even like really give you too much shit about that too, because really every generation has like I don't know how many generations go back in time, right? We've built our knowledge base and our technology. Like I don't know how to build a computer. I know how to use a computer. I can tell you the history of Apple computers because I care enough to read about Steve Jobs and all that stuff and Wozniak and stuff. But I couldn't build a computer. But it doesn't matter because I use a computer to do what I do here, to do what my interests are. So we build upon everybody stands on the shoulders of the last generation before them, and then hopefully you have the gumption to do something new with that and innovate and build something for take it that much further, so that the next generation comes after you will have that, and then they could go from there. That's one of the greatest things about our species, right? That's why we're the apex species on planet Earth, right? Because we share a common database, and that's always good. All right. No, I'm not a boomer. No, I'm not a millennial. There's actually another generation. I don't know if you heard about them. We're called Gen X. That's us. Okay. So can you hear this, or shall I turn it up? Yeah. Let's see. Okay, let's do some super chats here. I'm sorry, I'm become a little lazy here. God Emperor Arolo Tomasi. Yes, that would be me. Here. Okay. You know who hit me up yesterday was Todd Lee, MD.
Oh, Todd Lee?
Yes, my primary care physician. Todd, I got your message. I know he watches this show, but I sent Jim Kilgore his way, and so I guess he's doing something with Jim. He's going to Todd is going to be in Vegas for the Mr. O this year, which I think is in October. So right around fall, I'll have him on the show when he comes out, unless he comes out earlier, which I would love to do. The best thing about Todd Lee is a bodybuilder. He has a doctor. He's a medical doctor. Knows how to run gear, knows everything about gear.
He's a Baki character.
Yeah, he competes in bodybuilding competitions. Listens to basically all the same music I do. Has a Slayer hat. I knew he was cool once I saw the Slayer hat, right? And plays Warhammer 40,000. Like, how the fuck did this guy slide under my radar, man? I'm like, shit. I'm doing good, man. Thank you very much. I feel much better now. Rollo, under what societal conditions, oh boy, this is going to be deep, isn't it? Would women willingly choose isogamy over hypogamy over hypergamy without FOMO, or is that wishful thinking? Okay, isogamy, you mean like just being alone, like isolation? I don't even know what the fuck isogamy is. Hypogamy is a made up bullshit word, and hypergamy is women's innate mating strategy. So women don't choose those things. There's not a choice. You got to remember that when I talk about hypergamy or the dual mating, I use those interchangeably, right? Hypergamy should not be just limited to women marry up. I know everybody's trying to reel that back in a little bit, but there was a time when even Jordan Peterson was agreeing with me that it's not just about marrying up, it's about women fucking up too. And by that, I mean having sex with the biggest and better thing. So there used to be a joke. Was it Kevin Hart who said this? I forget who was, or no, it maybe was Eddie. Was it Eddie Murphy or Chris Rock who said, a woman can't go back in lifestyle. Like if she gets with a guy who can like provide her with
I think that was Chris Rock.
Yeah, it was a Chris Rock. But guys can't go back in sex style, right? So if a girl gives up the ass, then the next girl has to give up ass, right? Yeah. I think that he's correct about that, except for I also think that women can't go back in sex as well. Yeah, if they get with a guy that is a hot guy in the foam cannon party, they will always be pining for that one dude. I think I might have shown this at one point, but Will Costello was talking about the alpha widow concept. I'll get on that here in just a second, but alpha, he completely butchers it. So I'm gonna be as nice as I possibly can because Mike wants me to be nice with him. So I'll set him straight here in just a second. But the thing is that the alpha widow dynamic is only a thing because hypergamy is like this subroutine that's running in the background of women's like cognitive processes all the time. So it's not that women are going to trade up like on a moment's notice, because there's also that you have to think of hypergamy as like a math equation. Okay. And if it adds up that it's a better, if the only way to balance that equation is for that woman to get with the better guy, then the motivation will be there to get with the better guy, right? It could be socioeconomic. It could be because the guy she's with has a 4-inch dick, and the guy she was just with or wanted cheated on has a 10-inch dick. Guess what? She's probably still going to want to get with the guy that's got a 10-inch dick, right? Or he's in better shape, or he's more fun, or he's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor, whatever the fuck it is, right? There's the alpha fuck side of dual mating, and then there's the beta buck side, right? Well, if a woman can resolve her beta bucks needs, like parental investment, provisioning, and protection, if she can resolve that herself, or the guy that she's with can resolve that, but he's not fun, he's not exciting, he's not really fun in bed, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, blah, blah, blah. And another guy is exciting, guess what? That's going to preempt all that. That's, again, this is a subroutine. That's going to preempt or be sort of sublimate anyways, the protection of the beta buck side, right? I think we need to include that in hypergamy. Well, you're just relative to us. You don't get to define that. Fuck, I don't. I'm a human being like you. I could, like, why wouldn't I? Can tell me why we shouldn't? You know, I got into it. I remember when I got into this with like with Destiny one time, and of course he's just this Asperger's syndrome, like autistic fuck, and so everything's literal, right? So hypergamy only means marrying up. Okay, well then let's call it dual mating strategy. You want to call it that? Fine. I don't care what fucking abstraction we use. That's what I'm saying. Why we can't just say hypergamy is this and not, I don't know. It's just people trying to, I shouldn't say that. I do know. They want to reel it back in so that they have control over that terminology so that they can promote their own ideology. That's why. But to your point, it's wishful thinking because women don't follow hypogamy. It's not natural. It's not, put it this way. There's 200,000 years of human evolution has pretty much situated as fixated hypogamy and baked it into the cake of women. If hypogamy, or I don't even know what the fuck isogamy is, but if it's not something that was already a subroutine running in the cognitive background of women, what's the point, right? Honestly, I don't think it's a choice to begin with. So what's the next one? Mike's example of events are usually more unique and unapproachable, like charity events or bikini competitions. Any events that are much more attainable? It depends. It's funny is that one of my guys, I won't use his name, but one of my guys was going to go to a speed dating thing in Seattle. Which is funny to me because like the last time I saw a speed dating thing, it was like this article in, I don't know, Daily Mail or some shit like that. It was about like the speed dating event that got canceled because no dudes showed up. and all the women were like really pissed off because like, hey, we're good looking girls. We're alpha females. We all have jobs, or why can't we get, because the kind of guys that you would want to get with have anything to do with the speed dating thing. And the guys who, even the guys who wouldn't want to be with you because they wouldn't show up. They know they have no chance. That's why they're ridiculous. But okay, let's see. There's actually a guy, I have to look this up. One of the guys in my group is in Reignite is collecting all of these places that are good places to meet women that aren't a club. And it's not just Barnes and Noble. Okay. So it's not like a school library, although I'm sure that probably made it. There are art events, or I shouldn't say art event. There's you know, like those wine tasting things where you go and paint a picture or some shit like that. Oh, there's art. You go to art galleries. The art galleries are starting to do this. I know some of my guys have been to these. They'll go to these art galleries, but they're kind of mixers, but they're really meant to, like, you know, people to go and mingle. And you're meant to go to this art installment, and then there's wine and there's some food and appetizers and shit like that. And you're supposed to meet people there. I mean, really kind of like low key. That's what it's for. So that's one you could arrange. You could arrange something like that. I've told guys this as well, as one of the things. I mean, maybe this is a Vegas thing. I don't know if you could do this, like modify this somehow for other locations. But what I see a lot of guys do is they'll go on Instagram or whatever, and they'll like find some really hot chicks who are like, they look like, not super hot chicks, but they're up and comer like models, or they like, every girl's a wannabe model. Any girl that you see on Instagram kind of wants to be a model. So what they'll do is they'll get a bunch of photographers, like maybe 3 or 4 photographers, and they'll say, hey, meet up at this mansion or this, what you just rent an Airbnb or something like that, a really nice place. They don't have to know. You just give them a location. You have some drinks there. It's like basically just a house party, but it's meant to connect photographers with models, right? And I'm not talking a content house. I'm just saying, like, guys meet up, right? So you go and arrange that. It's low key. It's fun. You know, you got some music going on there, whatever else. It's more like a house party kind of thing than anything. But the subtext of it is to connect photographers with models or wannabe models, right? So you could do something like that. I'm trying to think what else you could do. But like the charity events, charity events is still something you can do. It doesn't have to be Babes in Toyland. There are other charity events. I do, last year I did the bunny ball and I did the teddy ball, which are, one happens in Easter and one happens in Christmas time, right? It's a little bit older demo. I'm not going to lie, but there's some very, very attractive women. One of the reasons, or one of the things that really convinced me about the charity thing, and the teddy ball and the bunny ball are much more, I'd say, reserved, but they're a different atmosphere, a different vibe, I guess, than Babes in Toyland. Babes in Toyland is like going to prom, right? Or it's going to homecoming dance or something like that. Girls are there and they know what it's about. They're there to dress up and walk the runway and get interviewed by Mike and to have their pictures taken. It is the reason why women love these events. And it's not just Vegas. There's one there's Miami. I think Fowler is talking about doing one in Scottsdale and Nashville. But primarily we do them in Las Vegas, Miami, and in Los Angeles. Those are the primary locations for all this. But you're right. They are much larger events, and the caliber of women is top shelf. Okay. But the reason for that is because the women who've been there before know what they're getting into. They will literally go and buy a dress or whatever, the cocktail, whatever, the sexy dress that they have just for that event. And they will never wear that shit again. They will spend a small fortune on one dress just to have that dress and then never wear the fucking thing again. So yeah, I guess I can understand that, but it doesn't mean you can't like do something in your hometown. It's just you have to get creative about it. I would have to. I'm trying to think like if I was still in Reno, like what would I? Because Reno's a much different market than Las Vegas, obviously. It's still city-ish in some places. Or what if I was in Lake Tahoe? Like what can I arrange where people would get together? And then it would be a social circle kind of thing. I don't know. I think it just sort of depends. Like you can think of stuff, just be creative. You could do it. I mean, those are some things. I like the photography angle quite a bit because chicks just love to have their pictures taken, right? I got in hands the printed version of the first 4 of your books. Okay. Currently, I'm reading the 3rd one, and Rollo, my only regret is that I didn't bought early enough. English is your second language. Best readants ever. Okay. Thanks for your service. I can't wait.
Good day, sir.
There you go. The losers at the beginning are pure rage baked. You mean at the beginning of the movie?
No, at the beginning of the show.
At the beginning of
the clips that we were.
Oh, those ones. Okay. The losers at the beginning. Yeah. You want me to go back to them? I'll be happy to talk about those fuckers. I live in a college town and a major city. Everyone seems as normal as ever. Internet discussions often seem to be overly dramatic. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
More people are more reserved.
Yeah,
in public places.
well, yeah, of course they are, because online is fake and gay and French. It is. Like Twitter is fake, gay, and French. It's not real. So it took me a long time to realize that, because Ryan Stone has been telling you that for the longest time. Online, one of the things, like when I talk about like the global sexual marketplace versus the local sexual marketplace, the local sexual marketplace is as real as it fucking gets. Okay. That's where you press the flesh, man. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's like, you better have fresh breath. You better stay out of my personal space. You better look good. You better have your shit together before. That's the proving ground, is the local sexual marketplace. The global sexual marketplace is you stroking off to porn. The global sexual marketplace is women on Instagram thinking that they're 4s who think they're 9s. They're 49ers. God, I love that. When we talk about how women's egos are overly inflated or artificially inflated, they have. I just wrote God, glad we got to this. I just wrote an article on Substack about standards again, but this is more like what I've written about standards before. But I've written about standards in the perspective of how men aren't allowed to have standards. Like it's on my blog. It's on the Rational Male. My blog. It's called The Truth About Standards. This one I wrote for Substack particularly, and I think I might actually turn it into a free, so everybody can see. I put it as paid, and now in hindsight, I kind of wish I hadn't, because it's a really good article. I think more people could benefit from it, but I think I might turn it into a free one. But it's about women's standards on this one, instead of the other one was about men's standards, or how men aren't allowed to have standards. But in this terms, it's like, because people kept asking me, women, it's a common conversation really, is shouldn't women have standards? And every TradCon is going to say, well, women, of course they should. We need to have, they don't want to get with a loser. They don't want to get with an alcoholic. They don't want to get an abusive asshole. They don't want to get with a drug addict. They don't want to get with a guy who builds Legos for his hobbies from Holland. They don't want to, they want a guy who's got his shit together. He's going places. He's a leader of men. He's a pillar of his community. That's the standard she demands, because she's entitled to it. And she's a 4 and she's entitled, but she thinks she's a 9. And so therefore she thinks she's entitled to a 9. And you better be a 9, brother, because you'll never get with that 4 if you're not. Thanks. That sounds great. But that's the standards prospect is that whenever you have this conversation, I can't even outline the problem. I can't even say, well, women's standards are this. I don't even have to do that. I just go on Call Her Daddy, right? Like Alex Cooper will say the same fucking things. They'll talk about the 666, by the way. And Rich Cooper's secretary's on the line. Something about residuals and copyright infringement. 666 basically came from Rich Cooper. I gotta give him his flowers. Sorry. So when you are ripping him off, at least give him the courtesy of a reach around. Okay. So 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, and or 6-inch cock. Looking at you, Dr. Deborah. So it's in your first chapter of your book, man. The 666. That's Rich Cooper's material. Just saying. And then 6 feet tall, 6-figure income, 6-pack abs, and or 6-inch or greater dick. Manhood, according to Dr. Deborah. So, yeah. The standards then are, if that's the thing. Remember that was the song Blue Eyes, 6-pack, finance, trust fund,
I just can't remember the name
whatever.
of it.
That whole thing, like that was essentially the same shit, right? So those are the standards. So if I even Dr. Deborah So can talk about this till the fucking cows come home. Rollo Tomasi talks about it for 12 years. I'm an asshole. I'm offensive. I'm a misogynist. Where do we go? Do I still have that one? I don't even know if I have those things on here. I have to get some pictures on these things so I can get the. Oh, there you go.
Misogyny.
Yeah, that's me. So Dr. Deborah So, thank you for doing the red pill work. I know you hate the manosphere. I know you hate the red pill, but you are as red pill as they come. you are in the manosphere, like it or not, Deb. You're in. Call me. No. So it's the standards thing, and anytime I talk about it, anytime I just outline, I can't even say 6 this, 6 that. I can't give you the rundown without it sounding like I'm complaining. Dr. Deborah So said something about how guys, when they're on a dating app or they're actually interacting with women, if a guy is like under 6 feet tall, let's say he's like 5'11" or 5'10", he will say, "I'm just under 6." You have to throw out the number 6. I'm just under 6 feet tall. I'm 5'11". I've never been. I've said I'm transparent, man. I will go stand right next to that fucking measurement right there on the wall. I made Mike go stand on that. People still don't believe it. Mike is 6 feet tall. He is 1 inch taller than me, which is funny because like all the guys I hang out with are giants, man. Like how tall's your brother? Your brother's
like 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, your brother's fucking huge, man. And it blows me away because like the average height of an American male is like 5'9".
Yeah.
And I'm 5'11", and every dude that I know that's in this niche, Myron Gaines,
Myron
Gaines, God damn it, fucking Mystery's huge.
Yeah, Mystery's
Sean Kelly's enormous. Justin Waller, up to here. George Gammon. Even Robert Kiyosaki's like 6'1". It's like all these dudes, and like I stand next to him, and they go, "I always knew he was 5'4". He's a manlet. I'm like, no, these are just tall motherfuckers, man. But there's something about dudes in this niche that it's like you're taller. If you're successful, it seems like you're like taller.
Pull that correlation.
Maybe that's what's fucking me up, man. I need to break my legs and get it in. Maybe clavicular's right. Maybe that's what's limiting me. I'd be a millionaire if I just had 1 extra inch this way. I'm black from the waist down, though. I got that one down. 6'6". Okay, I can't get the 6 feet tall. I got that. I make over 6 figures. Thank you very much. But I make under 7 figures. I'm not that paid. I'm above average in the manhood department, and but not grossly so. Let's see, what else was there? 6 feet tall. Oh, and 6-pack abs. Will you settle for 4? I wasn't built that way. I have a swimmer's body. I don't get that. Yeah, it's so those are the standards. And even Dr. Deborah So was saying the same thing. It's like, well, women want these things. Okay. But it's not just that those standards, it's that women feel that they're entitled to those standards. And anything less than those standards is substandard, right? Anything less than that is, she doesn't want that. And she shouldn't have to choose that. She shouldn't have to pick that. So if those standards, the 666 standards, all that crap, if that is what the global sexual marketplace is saying in Twitter, which again is fake, gay, and French, all of that is convincing her that she's a 4, but she's convincing her that she's a 9. Then she goes out into the local sexual marketplace and she suddenly discovers that the average height of the American man is 5'9", and he's overweight. He looks like Todd from do I still have Todd on here? I think I might have Todd on. He looks like, he looks like Todd. This is Todd. He looks like that. He don't look like the guys she sees on Instagram. Todd doesn't work. He's not an exotic dancer. He's not from Thunder Down Under. But that's what she expects she's going to see when she goes out into the world. Unfortunately, she's also 170 pounds and probably 5'4", right? But that's the problem. I love the fact that we're making movies finally for the red pill space and giving the middle finger to Hollywood. Yeah, I feel you. I want to be there with you, Sir Mr. Jason. And by the way, I did see you on Instagram recently, and bravo. But I don't think that it was specifically made to be a red pill movie.
Yeah, I don't think it
I don't
was.
think. I think it was mostly
that
to
didn't
be
have
like.
intention.
I think they. I could be wrong because I don't know the guy. He might be a fucking genius. He might be the next Steven Spielberg, right? He might be the next guy he's just got it right. But I don't think this was intentional. I think he just went with what the modern culture is doing right now. I don't think that the intent was. I think his intent was to create a horror movie, a scary movie. Yeah, I know it was fucking, and he succeeded in that for sure. But I don't think his intent was to say, "Oh, those fucking incels, oh those dumb bitches, they only want to fall in love with their ex rapists, right? Or you got to take their free will away from them for them to be anything." That's also something I did. I should have got to this about the free will kind of thing. I know enough dudes. I know lots. In fact, probably overwhelmingly so. I know a lot of guys who that situation. Where if they could do that, if this would be a great poll, I should do this. If you could break the willow, whatever the fuck thing is, the knick-knack, right? If you could do that and you could make any chick fall in love with you, would you do it? I guarantee you there would be guys that would be like, fuck yeah, of course I would. And you know what? Those are the same guys who would be like, I would pay a hooker to do it because I don't care. They're all prostitutes anyways. I'm just paying her to leave, right? They will be okay with transactional sex because that's essentially breaking the thing and doing the wish. It's transactional. I bought her for life. I bought this little knickknack and that's the deal. This is the contract. And then she's mine for life. She's still doesn't want to be in love with you. She doesn't want to have sex with you. She doesn't have any real innate, genuine desire for you. But what you're saying is, I don't care. That's the real horror story right there. And I think that's part of the narrative that Rob actually missed in all of this because he was too busy like trying to poke fingers at the incels, right? He's an incel. Okay, but that's not the point. The point is these guys are fine with it.
Yeah.
They're absolutely like the guy ends the movie dying because he's fine with it.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm glad that they did the scene. I'm glad they changed the scene because like the ending that is the actual ending was an alternative ending for the thing. They weren't going to end it like that, but it was such a good performance. It did it in one take. And it was such a good performance. They go, this is the way it is. And I'm glad they did because it's a really good ending to that story. But in the original, he was going to live and she died. Isn't that how it worked? Yeah.
She was supposed to offer stuff.
Yeah. And she just ends it all because she can't take it anymore. Right. But then the lottery thing and then all that other shit. So yeah. But I think okay, so if your implicit bias is your anti-manosphere and you're like pro, like Rob Henderson, I love you, Rob. I really do. I'm saying this out of love, okay? If you're going to be a white knight, at least be a well-educated one. At least have a frame of fucking reference about the manosphere or any of this shit. Like he actually did a essay on Substack to try to attempt to talk about the female teacher student essay epidemic. And it's all, well, it doesn't matter because the guys enjoyed it and we should just change the laws and it should be legal. That's how he ends. Literally, that's how he ends the Substack. And I'm like, oh God, thank God you haven't said anything about this up until now. He just doesn't understand the severity of it. He doesn't understand the larger, like, sort of gender dynamics implications of it. Which did I expect anything different? No. But anyways, getting back to just the end of that movie is the way that it ended. But I think it's you get kind of lost in the weeds here if all you're thinking of is this guy. This is a movie about an incel. It's not just about an incel. It's about guys. It's also about guys who are okay if that woman is a good actress, even if she's compelled to be a good actress through magic or money or whatever. Right? There's a lot of guys who will tell. I've talked to them personally. Who will say, "I don't care. I don't care that she doesn't want me. She will never want me because women can't love men anyways, right? So if I have to pay for that performance, that convincing performance for her to want to fuck me and convince me that she's into it, make it rain."
Because Bear he's not in love with her. He's in love with the thought of her.
Mm-hmm.
thought of that relationship, thought of that. That's exactly what it's going for.
I'm
Doesn't
glad-
care.
I'm glad you said that, because that's sort of a counterpoint to what like Rob was saying, which is like, well, he's a pussy. He's a coward. And so he takes the coward's way out by getting the cheat code to the video game. That's essentially what it is. I've had that, Rob, again, I've had that conversation with enough guys over the past. It's like a lot of guys just would rather have the cheat codes to the video game so they can win the game. And then they doesn't, but that's the thing. That's the point, is there has to be some sort of danger. There has to be some real consequences, some real risks. The woman has to want you back. You have to want that woman. And that's how you build a relationship and everything else. You can't tell guys that who've been, have no frame of reference.
Yeah.
God, he even says at the end of his own article, it's like, X amount of guys haven't asked a woman out in the last year. And 75% of women want a guy to ask them out, the hot guy to ask them out. Okay, so that makes that number of guys you're all cowards. You might as well just say you guys are all fucking cowards. And here, that's why they made this movie, to let you all know that you're fucking cowards. You're worthless. You guys ain't shit. Like Rob, like, every chick online has been telling these guys the same fucking thing for a long time. You telling them is not going to, it's not beating them any harder. I think that's the bigger problem is you can tell these guys that they ain't shit all day long. And you're not going to fix the fucking problem. What are you doing? What are you doing, Scott Galloway? What are you doing, Rob Henderson? What are you doing, Richard Reeves? It's funny is Phil Labonte actually got some shit going. He knows one of these Congress guys. I can't remember the guy congressman's name, but he got at least an initiative. He got a bill on the floor for men's mental health or something like that. And it was Phil Labonte from All That Remains. It took the heavy metal singer from All That Remains to get some shit moving while you guys are there jerking off. We need to talk about all this stuff. Like, you're doing nothing. Phil Labonte is like, get up and fucking do it. They won't, because their brands depend on them just talking all the time and doing it, and rather than doing anything. And like I was saying before, it's like I work with the unsexy demographic. I work with guys who are just fucking broke. And I don't mean like financially. I mean, they're broken. Like these guys are 45 to 65 is the prime demographic for male self-deletion. And these guys who come out of like bad marriages, they are 9 times more likely to off themselves as a result of that. Because why? Because they don't have networks. They don't have people they have no base of support. There's nothing there to help them sort of build themselves back up, because those guys have 2 choices: delete themselves or rebuild themselves. And then I know this is going to be a very unpopular, opinion, but it's been my experience anyways, that literally my experience, that the guys who end up offing themselves, they don't do it from an emotional, I'm so depressed, I'm going to off myself. They don't. You know why they don't? You know why men off themselves in the numbers that they do? Because it's the most pragmatic solution to a problem. That's why. Well, I can either delete myself or I can rebuild myself. I'm 50 years old. I've lost my business. I've lost my wife. I've lost my dog. I've lost my children. I've lost my truck. It's a country music song. I've lost all this stuff. And I don't know how to get back into the sexual marketplace. I'm a stranger in a strange land. I don't have any base of support. The church that I thought I was a part of it takes her side, and I'm ostracized out of it. I'm living in an apartment I can barely afford because now I have to take another job because of this. Now I got to pay financial support to this bitch. Now I've got to, I've got child support and everything else. And I still want to be a good, responsible father and everything, but I don't know how I'm going to do this, and I don't know how I can get back on the horse and ride again. So I'm faced with the choice. I can delete myself or I can just rebuild myself with all of these added. I've done everything that everybody told me I'm supposed to do because I wanted to be a good, upstanding Christian leader of men. And now I find myself in this situation, and I've been zeroed out, and I'm 50 years old, and now, or in some cases 60, or Robert Kiyosaki, and so guys who are 70s and stuff like that. And they've only got X amount of years left. How long is it going to take me to rebuild myself? Another 10, 12? Then I'm 62. then I'm 72. Seems like a more pragmatic solution is to just, I'm gone. Okay, thanks. You guys never cared about it anyway, so I'm out. Why is it that guys like when they discovered that the kids aren't theirs after they've 18, 20, 30 years of marriage, and they're more prone to off themselves or off their wife or off the kids or whatever else? Why do we worry about guys having that reaction? Because they just see it as a solution to the problem. Yes, is emotion involved in it? Sure it is. But it's just how the equation, the math equation works. I would prefer, it's in my belief, that men should choose life. Frankie Goes to Hollywood, right? To choose to stay around. Existence is infinitely better than non-existence, okay? You can come back. You can rebuild yourself. You can become more than you were. You can come back from, fight back from zero. My job and my commission is to keep the guns out of men's mouth and to keep the noose off their necks. I think it's better. I think that's the better way to go about doing it. And I have a program for that. I'm sure Mike would agree with me too. It's called Men of Action, not men of let's sit around and talk about our feelings. Let's not men of, hey, let's have this congressional talk and discussion and think tank and we're going to talk about these problems. It's not that. That's not the name of the group. The name of the group is Men of Action. The name of my group, Reignite. Go out and fucking do. You go do. Not sit around, not talk about it. That's why Phil Labonte is a doer. Phil Labonte goes and gets that legislation initiated. I really got to look that up. Phil, can you find that for me real quick? Yeah, I forget it's HB something. There's some numbers and stuff like that, but it's a men's mental health initiative that I don't know if I don't think it's been passed, but I know he got it put on the docket to talk about it in Congress. But he's doing something. What are you fucking doing? What are the MRAs doing? I mean, maybe they've done something. I don't know. But the fact that I don't know should tell you something about that. So I want to also set something straight here because I mentioned this last week, and I thought I was being clear when I mentioned it. But yes, Michael Sartain and Rollo Tomasi are going to do a discussion, a debate, or I don't know how whatever they're billing it as. I don't even give a flying fuck. I'm going to show up on July 8th at, forget whatever the time is that I agreed to, on whoever's channel I agreed to. I don't even know. But we're going to have a discussion with myself, Mike, Paul Elam, and some other I don't even know who the other guy is. There, I announced it. Got it? Everybody understand? We'll be doing it on July 8th. Thank you very much. This has been a public service announcement of the Rational Male. End of story. Good. Finally. Let's see. What's the next one? How do I let go of wanting to control everything or putting things right because I'll never change the way women are, or the way women or how things are. Women are or how things are. Okay. Why do you think that? So you'll never change the way women are. And that's the thing is one of the another quote from Rollo Tomasi. The red pill doesn't exist so that you will hate women. I know that's radical for a manosphere guy to talk about. The red pill doesn't exist so that men will hate women. It exists so men won't hate women for what they can never be to men. Isn't that awesome? Lady, I can't see why any woman would ever disagree with that, would ever want. What do you mean? No, they know exactly what I mean. That's awesome. They want men who get them and understand them and aren't trying to turn them into something that they'll never be for them. Okay, fucking awesome. Take that information, take that knowledge base, take that data and use it and leverage it to your advantage. You could call that manipulation or game playing or whatever the fuck it is, or you could call it seduction, you could call it persuasion, whatever euphemism you want to apply to that, it's still, you're putting it into practice. So yeah, you're never going to change the way women are. Why would you want to? I love it when guys are like, they'll say, I don't understand why women like this drama all the time. Because they're chicks, that's why. Or I don't understand why women, I'll give them the speech about how men communicate overtly and women communicate covertly, right? And then we'll talk about, context versus content and, that kind of stuff. And how women and men's languages are different. Men say what they mean what they say, right? And they'll go, well, I don't see why women can't just mean what they say and say what they mean. Yeah, because they'd be dudes. Do you want to fuck a dude? You're not going to change them. So what do? You work within the parameters of it. You be better. Don't hate the game, man. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. You just be a better player of the game. You can do it too. It's not difficult to do. It's not really hard. I mean, you can build yourself up and be better at it, right? See, that's the whole point. It's like, what is it? How do I let go of wanting to control everything? You don't. I want to control. He wants to control everything. Everybody wants to control everything. There's nothing wrong with hyper agency. That's a perfect example of hyper agency versus hypo agency. Listen up, Tiffany Fox. Hyper agency means I happen to the world. You don't fuck me. I do the fucking. That's hyper agency. I happen to the world. I enforce my will onto the world. I want to change something. I'm going to just mow the lawn. Guess what? You just changed the fucking world, man. You impose your will with a gas engine and some blades and you just mowed the lawn, right? Congratulations, your hyper agency. That's your hyper agency. Low key, he didn't do much, but still, the principle applies. Hypo agency, Tiffany Fox, is the world happens to me. Oh, darn. Bad luck. I got snake eyes again. Craps dice, right? Boxcars. Oh, something happened to me. This happened to me. So the sum total of your life is how the world fucked you. I fundamentally reject that mindset. Fuck that. I'm going to quote Mike Rashid. Fuck average. When Wes Watson, stop being a little bitch. In this case, he's right. Yes, hyper agency or hypo agency. Are you going to happen to the world? Is the world going to happen to you? And sometimes when the world happens to you, you got to happen back to it. I'm not even a motivational guy. There's this one dude. I gotta figure out who this dude is. He's like this bodybuilder dude. And I follow him on Instagram. I think you've seen me. I've reposted some of his stuff, and the dude's like ripped and jacked. And it's nothing but like get up off your ass. If you're not where you want to be, it's because of you. And like he's just all this motivational stuff, and it's not any different from like a lot of what other people are saying. But I'm like, but just the delivery, yeah, let's go. It's just the delivery, man. I'll never change the way women are or how things are. You damn right you will. You will change the way things are. You can change the way things are. Why do you feel like you can't? Fuck, that's I don't know. I guess I can understand because especially when you don't have money, you don't have means, like wealth enforces will. If you had money, you'd feel much differently. If you were jacked and juicy as fuck, if you were tan and jacked and juicy as fuck, you'd have a different outlook. I mentioned this on Rule Zero just yesterday. I'm convinced that if you took some of these black pill doomer kids and you put them on TRT or an Anavar, and you had them on it for like 12 weeks, right? And you asked them like about their outlook of life, like before and after.
The big shit.
It'll be complete. Trust me when I say this. Your attitudes, your beliefs, your motivation, your achievements, your drive, your ambition, all the stuff everything that what David Goggins talks about, everything that gosh, I don't know. I'm trying to think who's a good motivational guy, right? Alex Hormozy, right? Hey, whoever. I guarantee you that if you change your biochemistry, you'll be shocked at your beliefs, how your beliefs would change. You'll go from being a weesh liberal pansy ass Democrat to being a MAGA supporter in 12 weeks. I saw this one study about how testosterone has the effect of making guys not care about social repercussions or like just say, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. Like there's a definable like a measurable amount, I guess, of fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway, kind of motivation or drive for guys to do that. And I sent sent the article to Mike. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but they did these experiments how they would like up the T of these guys, and then because of that, they said I'm more willing to like go against the rules, like break the rules, kind of thing, but because they just, and not because they made a conscious choice, right? They were just like, it's just how I am. This is what I'm going to do. Because their testosterone was up.
Influences social behavior. Right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it negates the I guess the signal strength of the influence of social of other people's like society, like impinging on their behaviors. Right. Yeah. Rolo wanted to mention the movie Straw Dogs. That is where Kate Bosworth has still hung up on her ex-boyfriend. Was that genuine desire? Now I'm going to have to watch Straw Dogs because I have never seen it. I have no idea. Do you know who's Kate Bosworth?
I'll show you right now.
Is she all right? Oh, you're gonna show me on your phone. All right, you can't just put it. That's all right. That's fine. Kate Bosworth, Straw Dogs. I will look it up. What does she look like? I gotta see it on here. Oh, she's all right. How old is she?
I can find out right now.
43, right? No. She looks like born 1983. What does that make her?
She's 43.
43.
Wow.
Damn, I'm good. Fuck yeah. Yeah, she's one of those hot chicks that you just kind of know is older. Yeah, see, I was right. Awesome. It's from hanging out in Las Vegas. That's what Vegas will do to you. You have accurate assessments. Fuck, that's great. Straw Dogs. No, I don't know. I have not seen it, so I can't really give you an honest opinion of it. So I love how people like presume I've seen these movies. Isn't Garrett Graham the ultimate proof of alpha widowhood? Married women suddenly compare their real husbands to a fictional ideal and can't seem to let go emotionally. Who was Garrett Graham? Garrett Graham. Garett Graham with an H. There it is. You think you had it a minute ago. Yeah. Oh, he's a hockey player. Is that our dude?
No, it's from the
show
book. This guy Off Campus. It's a show.
Oh, it's off. Okay, so it's off campus is a thing.
That's this guy that they're talking about.
You mean in real life or in the show? In show terms, in the movie show terms, isn't Garrett Graham the proof of? I don't know. Married women suddenly compare their real husbands to a fictional ideal and can't seem to let go emotionally. I don't know enough about Garrett Graham and his situation. I can though tell you something about the dynamic. Do you remember that? Do you remember that one? It was actually a Super Bowl commercial a while back, maybe 10 years back. But they had Michael B. Jordan was on it, and it was this chick, and she was married, and I don't know what exactly they were selling, but the chick was married as a black couple, and she had a chance to get with Michael B. Jordan. But her husband wasn't all that. Her husband was a black dude too, right? But he wasn't all that shit. He wasn't all that. He was certainly not comparable to Michael B. Jordan, right? And he, was that it?
Called Alexia's Body.
Alexa's Body, capitalizing on
daydreaming executive who imagined AI assistant taking human form as Jordan himself.
That's it.
Much to her husband's dismay.
Yes. 2020. That's when that was. So it was about 7 years ago or 6 years ago. Yeah, I remember that. Alexa's Body, 60-second commercial, first aired in the Super Bowl, and it begins with yeah. So I remember, that was it. Yeah, and he was trying to show off his, exactly. There was the AI assistant. Yeah, wow. So I remember that. I remember that commercial, and I remember thinking, "What a fucked up commercial this must be!" Like, and of course, if I say, "God, what a fucked up commercial," what are you? Who hurt you? Why can't girls do this? Oh, you're just so double standard. And I'm like, no, it seems pretty fucked up. Don't you think? I mean, she's married to this guy, and she's like mooning over a fantasy of it's not even the real Michael B. Jordan, right? That is a good example of that concept of in that commercial is fundamentally based on the alpha widowhood. And that's another thing is Will Costello tried his best to describe what an alpha widow was. I'm going to bring that up here in just a second, but One of the things that he didn't mention is that being an alpha widow, women can be an alpha widow from an ideal. It doesn't have to have an actual person. It could be just somebody that they're dreaming. It could be like Fabio from, the cover of some romance novel, right? Yeah. It could be this sort of fantasy ideal that she has. She might have never had sex with the guy that looks like that before, but she still thinks there's still her one is still out there. She married the wrong guy.
White book talking.
Yes. I hope it has been okay to tag you sharing blog posts and YouTube videos on Twitter. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, please do more, actually. Your work changes lives in the most positive ways and can refute the nonsense from the cons and grifters. Thank you. Yeah, it can refute, but you know what it also does? It also gets backed up by everybody who now suddenly decides that we're actually right about things, but they can't actually say that we're right about something, but they still feel compelled to talk about the same shit that I've been talking about or Mike's been talking about forever. Yeah, but thanks. Let's grab. Okay, I'm going to have to. I apologize in advance. I have to talk shit about Lauren Southern, but before I do, where is? Let's see. It's not Chris Williamson. It is. I got to dig this up. My bad. Oh, I got a really good video from Tanner Guzzi too. Oddly enough, I really like what Tanner Guzzi is doing. Once again, I've always liked his material. We kind of had a falling out after the whole, Anthony Johnson shit. But I think I might try to reach out to him again at some point. Maybe it's not in the intro. Maybe it's in here. Here we go. I think this is it. Yeah.
Widow hypothesis. Have you heard of this one? No. High mate value men, very physically attractive, will lower their standards on a whole load of different traits for short-term mating. Take something like the amount of intelligence that men require for a fling versus a wife.
I got news for you. They don't care too much about it in a wife either. So men will take what they can get, period. End of story.
Easy different. Whereas women typically want similar enough for short term because it could be as consequential for them. The alpha widow hypothesis is that lower mate value women encounter these Chad guys who are willing to lower their standards for a short term one night stand. These women then, having experienced Chad in all his glory, get confused because that's what they then want. But it's very difficult for her to then climb back down the mate value hierarchy and say, I should go for Steven over here who's 6 out of 10, my level, and he can commit to me, because it's not going to be as exciting. And that's the idea, is that they've been alpha widowed.
All right, so you get a C minus. C plus maybe, okay? At least he's acknowledging. He just has no idea where the alpha widow dynamic comes from. Don't believe me? Go pick up The Rational Male today on Amazon. There's actually the chapter is called Alpha Widow. It's in the book. Been around for a long time, Will. I know it's shocking, but you were probably in middle school when it got published. So yes and no. Alpha widowhood can mean a lot of things. It's not just she encounters some Chad who is lowering his standards to bang her. It is the guy. The alpha widow is the guy who made the most alpha impression upon that woman of all the lovers, all the people she's been intimate with for all of her life. Okay. It goes back to the reason why body count actually matters. Okay. One of the reasons. There's several reasons why body count matters. This is one of those reasons. Okay. So as I said before, what would you rather? Here, hypothetical question, story time. What would you? I love it when I tell this story. What would you rather? Would you rather get with a woman who has a 20 body count, but you're the most alpha motherfucker she's ever been with? You're the dude. She's not. She's going to be alpha widowed for anybody that comes after you, but she's had 20 guys before you came along. But she is ride or die for you, has genuine desire for you, really wants to she wants to please you. She cancels her OnlyFans and Instagram and everything else because you're the shit, man. She just wants to be with you. That girl? Or do you choose the girl who has had 2 partners or one partner before you. But that one partner, his name is Dan Bilzerian. That guy, all right? That guy who you are not, okay? I use that as a euphemism. A guy who is like the old Michael B. Jordan, right? Is Alan Richson, is I don't know, I don't care. Is so alpha that she's going to be pining for that guy for the rest of her life, although she's only had one guy before you, and that's the dude, right? The reason why you can answer that if you'd like, but you don't have to, because I know most people will get what the illustration is about, and I hope Will Costello is watching this. What the alpha widow dynamic is it's about the guy who leaves the most alpha impression. It's not just the Chad who was drunk one night and just banged the poor little wallflower 5. Okay. Sometimes she might just be mooning for that guy, the possibility that she could have got with him, even whether it's realistic or not. Right. But again, the body count thing, the reason why body count matters for the woman who has the 20 is because within 20 partners, how many of those guys like rocked her world in bed, were 6 feet tall, could have been the quote unquote, stereotypical Chad? How many of those guys, there's a larger pool, there's a larger depth of the backfield, right? Now I said, but you're the guy that you're the alpha. You AMOG all those 20 guys, right? The reason why guys are hesitant to get with the woman with 20 partners, really from a cycle, I'm just saying from an alpha widow perspective, is because there's more chance that with 20 partners, 1, 2, 3 of those guys are going to be somebody she's going to be like, I wonder what Rob's doing today, on Instagram, and she keeps following. You know why that one meme is funny? This one, where'd it go? This meme is funny, where how she looks when you tell her to block the guy who quote unquote graped her. Why does she give you that look? Why is that a 30.5 million viewed meme on Twitter? Because it's fucking true. That's why. Because that's the guy that was her quote unquote grapist is the alpha she is widowed from, and women know damn well what it means. Which is why they're hemming and hawing and just losing their shit over it. And by the way, they made a male version of they say, hey, I made a male. Ladies, you can't meme. You really can't fucking meme. Oh yeah, we're gonna make one. You'll be a guy. Original. Bravo. No, the reason why they're pissed off is because it's an unflattering truth about female nature, which of course comes back to what? The alpha widow dynamic, Will Costello. And I'm being as nice and as diplomatic as I possibly can, I swear to God. So the fact that that guy rocked her world, that's the operative in all of this. The alpha widow, the reason why I even said it was an alpha widow, because I was dealing with a lot of guys during that time. This was back in 2011. I was dealing with a bunch of guys who said, Rollo, I'm with this really great chick, but she's constantly checking on her old boyfriend, or she is, back then it was like she's looking him up on Facebook. She's, checking out, she's creeping on his socials or something like that. Even Katy Perry wrote that song, The One That Got Away. Yeah. Or it's, better, excellent illustration. It's Rose from Titanic. Mm-hmm. At the end of Titanic, the multi-gajillion-dollar diamond that goes down to the bottom of the sea. She doesn't drop it in the sea for the guy that gave her this fucking great life. She drops it into the sea for this 14, 16-year-old kid who drew her naked and fucked her once in the back of a car that happened to be on the Titanic before he went to the bottom of the ocean, and she can't get over him because, he was Jack was the one. He was her true love. And now they're at the bottom of the ocean reunion. It was the Titanic. Even to this day, and maybe debatable, the greatest love story of all time. Won Best Picture in 1997, 1980, something like that. 1997, 1998, right? And then 97, and then the year after that was Saving Private Ryan won the best, which is also a male love story. Yes. But the fact of the matter is like that's billed as the greatest love story of all time. Thank you, Cameron, James Cameron. But that's the greatest love story ever put to film is a story of an alpha widow. Watch it. Seriously. Watch the movie again with a red pill lens and you'll be horrified. Remember that there's that one scene where she says to the guy she's supposed to marry, she says, I would rather be his whore than your wife. You want a red pill movie? Damn, there you got it right there, man. That's your red pill moment in that one. You don't even know because it's the 90s and nobody knew about it. That's what it was. And so it's this fantasy idea. She was only with the guy one time, but it's here that she can't get over. The reason I use that Katy Perry song is because that Katy Perry song, the one that got away, Johnny died at Dead Man's Curve or some shit like that. He was the one she was supposed to be with. And even in the music, I hate to say that I actually saw this, but in the music video, she gets with this guy who's this old crusty dude, but she gets with him because she's admitting she's a gold digger. But the guy provides her with this wonderful life, but she's still pining for Johnny who died at Dead Man's Curve, who was actually widowed he's dead. But he's the one that got away. He's the soulmate. He's the one that she should have been with, not this guy who was a good provider, gave her kids, gave her everything that she ever wanted in her life, but she can't get over this dude. In fact, she probably named her first son Johnny or Jack. Why do we name him Jack? I don't know. No reason. Is that a family name? No, not really. Was it Mike Vrabel?
Yeah,
Mike Vrabel and the other chick who's cheating. She was cheating with him and stuff like that. She named her first son Mike. I told you this shit happens, but nobody believes me. He's just some crazy guy on the fucking internet. Yep. 90 years thinking about Jack. You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right.
You're goddamn right.
Yes. 90 years. Because she was 100 when she died, right? Yeah. Well, actually, a little less than 90, but still crazy. But that's the greatest love story of all time. So, Will, now you have your homework. You have to understand that the alpha widow dynamic is also it's something that I think a lot of guys have to deal with because for the most part, well, going back to standards again, if that woman has to, quote unquote, lower her standards or be more realistic in her sexual selection process, however you want to bill it, we're never going to get to that. Not in this day and age. There's no fucking solution because women have smartphones, because women have the global sexual marketplace. They go on Instagram. They see what their girlfriends are doing. They're living vicariously through other people, through other women, right? As I've said before, all it takes is just the impression, the perception that they could get flown out to Miami and go out on a yacht party with Drake or some NBA player or something like that. That's all that matters. That's what sets the model for the local sexual market. So she goes and she logs off. She goes offline and just put it away. I'm going to go to the club and hang out with my girlfriends. And she looks around here and she doesn't see anybody that looks like the guys that she saw online. They look like a bunch of slubs. They look like Bear. they look like a bunch of slubs. And it's slim pickings because they live in Nebraska, right? So, Will, I think you need to, before you study the alpha widow dynamic, or you want to go and do polls, your highly scientific Twitter polls, for professional respect here, at least understand what I'll send you the links, man. I've been talking about this for over almost 20 years now. The one that got away. I mean, even the one that got away to the point where she names her firstborn son Dave because Dave was the hot guy in the foam cannon party when she was in college. Right? She wants to be reminded of that. If I can't have Dave's DNA. I can't actually birth his child, but I'll birth this guy's child and I'll name him Dave because it'll remind me I should really have been with. He was the one that I should have been with. It's like Eat, Pray, Love, right? Or it's like, Stella got her groove back. Yeah. It's divorce porn. You know what's funny is like I don't know if you guys remember what divorce porn is. Divorce porn is like movies like Eat, Pray, Love. The Notebook, I guess, would probably be similar to that. Stella got her groove back. There's a few others. Those are the ones that come to mind right away. But like the idea is that we can talk to women who are married, who got married probably 28, 30 years old, and they're just this side of 40. They're 38, 39 right there. That's the prime demographic for divorce porn, because once you get past 40, it's all over.
American Beauty.
American Beauty, yes. Yeah, that is one. The grass is always greener on the other side. So, but the divorce porn thing is essentially convincing women, the latent purpose of it is to convince women that they should divorce their husband because he's not the one. Even though he's like Rose's husband, she's Amelia Earhart, flies planes, rides English horses, has like 3 kids, and then a dozen grandkids. Learns to drive, is her entire female empowerment story arc depends on one rich old motherfucker who she doesn't give a care. She cares nothing about at the end of the movie. It's still hung up on Jack. That's the alpha widow, right? The idea that it being like the divorce porn dynamic in that is divorce your husband while you still have time, while you still can go out, and you're still young enough to get another dude. You're still 38. You still have big tits. You still have a nice ass at 39, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe you want to fuck your personal trainer or whatever. Get yourself ready to, like, we always talk about how women, when they break up with a guy, when they divorce a guy, they've already divorced the guy 6 or 8 months prior, but like before he gets the papers, right? Before he gets the announcement, before they have the talk. She's already left him. It's like the talk is, and the papers are just a formality at that point. How do you get to that? Well, you get to that through divorce porn. You get that through a social narrative that teaches women that they should divorce their husbands because there's something wrong with it. Or they'll start trying to find things like, oh, maybe he's got a porn addiction. Maybe he drinks a little too much. Maybe he's not as emotionally available. Maybe he's not, whatever. Like, find whatever it is that they can conflate with sort of adultery, or give them some sort of moral reason to let go of the guy. It's money issues, or they have a sexless marriage because he's always pushing for sex and I don't really want him, right? No, she's still got her groove back. She wants to divorce the guy so she can go find a dick swinging Jamaican in Jamaica on vacation and like start a new life with this guy, right? Same thing with Eat, Pray, Love. Like, that's the same narrative. We do not have a divorce porn narrative for men. Hey guys, go out and divorce your wife and get the hot secretary. And you like, do guys do that? A very small fraction of guys do that. Yes, it is definitely possible. But you don't see movies saying, guys, you're almost 40, divorce that bitch and get with your hot secretary before it's too late. That movie does not get made in the 21st century, I guarantee you. Point being, you want a double standard? There's your double standard, right? But the alpha widow dynamic is intimately locked in with that divorce porn narrative. That's why those movies get made. That's why women can go, oh, this is good. Let's have Ben and Jerry's while we watch this fucking movie, right? It's a comfort movie. Makes you feel better about your fucked up choices in life. So hypo agency, right? You're encouraging them to divorce, but they're still fucked because bad luck. But that's the alpha widow narrative in a nutshell. Now, the other part of this is it doesn't have to be an actual dude. It could be the fantasy of Michael B. Jordan. It could be the fantasy of, like, I could get that guy. I could get flued out. People think I'm messing that up. Like, whenever I say flued out, I'm like, no, that's the way Fresh says it, and that's the way I'm going to say it. He doesn't know that the past tense is flown. I'm like, no, because the cool kids call it flued. I even got corrected one time. I'm like, all right, that's how you say it. I'm going to say it. You got flued out. Okay. Yeah. Think about this. Yeah. All right. Let me put that back. Put this one back. What did you send me? Oh, this is the All That Remains thing. Yeah. What was the news magazine? Oh, it's collating. I had this actually as a. Oh, there it is. Oh, cool. Yeah, All That Remains frontman, vocalist, Philip Labonte op-ed on the male crisis that catches Congress's interest. So yeah, okay, yeah, he wrote an op-ed. That's right. And then I forget who it was. Shit, this is pretty short. I could read this. Philip Labonte, a close personal friend of mine, the frontman of All That Remains, is drawing fresh attention to his 2024 op-ed, which is titled "The Silent Crisis: Why Society's Failing Men and Boys." You should make him the fucking chairman for the Commission of Men and Boys. It occurs as the newly introduced federal legislation brings congressional interest in the struggles of men and boys in America. His op-ed was subsequently followed by a number of meetings on Capitol Hill. During the meetings, Labonte took part in a series of discussions about how the Congress might find out solutions to the problems he indicated. The op-ed noted that men are increasingly disengaged from education and the workforce and community life. It also mentions depression, addiction, suicide, and which affect men. Labonte's perspective comes from direct contact with fans over many years, and also hanging out with me. These fans have opened up to him about their struggles and the isolation and the lack of purpose. Labonte made the following statement: "We are watching too many young men drift without direction or support. If we don't take this seriously, we'll risk losing an entire generation, not just of men, but of fathers and leaders." His claims are backed up, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it goes this. But here's the thing. I saw this, and okay, so this is May 2026. Okay, good. I was just wondering if this was recent. Yeah, it is. But there is actually a bill that is in the House right now. It's HB something or other. There's a number to it. So it's actually being put into taking actionable steps, right? And I think it's interesting. Like, I love Phil. He's great, man. I met him at I met him in Tim Pool's show when I went out there. And then I actually was on a show with him on Tim Pool's show, the last one I did in December when they were out here in Vegas. And like I said before, I made the announcement earlier in the show, but Tim Pool, the Timcast is coming to Vegas July 4th through the 10th. They're going to be at Origin Studios. I helped arrange that. And I'm hoping Phil's going to show up, because if he does, I would very much love to have him on this show, or go, I don't care, we'll do Tim Pool again. But I'm hoping that happens. I'm hoping he comes out, because I would really like to get a one-on-one with him at some point, because I think that would be a really interesting conversation. And then go take him to dinner or something, because I know he's been going through some shit. He just had a kid. He just had his first child, I think, back in about a year back. I think he just turned 50 and had his first kid. And then he also, oddly enough, had intestinal problems very similar to mine. And he was in the hospital for a bit. So we were talking about that. So it was really weird. So, but anyways, he's a good guy. Phil's just a good guy. And I think it's fantastic that he does all this stuff. And that is one of the things that I've been kind of harping on recently, is that we got to get out and do shit, man. It's one thing to talk, we need to raise awareness as part of the Manosphere has been raising awareness of everything that Scott Galloway has been saying, everything that Richard Reeves has been saying, everything that you name it. I mean, for fuck's sake, I was on Dr. Phil with Richard Reeves, and I was the one who I told the producers, you should probably get Richard Reeves on this show. It'd be great. And that was just when his first book came out, of Boys and Men. And I'm like, because I wanted to have somebody that I could bounce ideas off of, because I knew Dr. Phil wasn't going to know what the fuck we're talking about. But that was, and then we had Richard Reeves in studio it wasn't Access Vegas. It was an interview of me and Mike talking to him. And it was a good conversation, but it's like, the Manosphere has been talking about this and raising awareness of all this stuff that everybody thinks is this novel new shit. Been talking about it for literally decades at this point. And now it's like, okay, I think we know what the problem is. How about we institute and initiate something? How are we going to do that? Well, for Phil, it's going to be, legislation. For me and Mike, it's going to be working with guys individually, each one tell one. We work from the bottom up. Phil, actually, to his credit, because this usually doesn't happen, top down. Phil is popular enough with some congressmen, I guess, that he can pull that kind of stuff off. So I think that's great. Can I ask if you can do an episode on female judgmentalism and emotionalism? I think I've already done one on emotionalism. Yeah, I mean, I could certainly make that a topic, and all 400 of you will watch it. It's so much better when I talk shit about Lauren Southern. You sure you don't want me to do one about her? Yeah, I could. Judgmentalism and emotionalism. You mean like the combined, like how they interact with each other? The female emotionalism is really kind of like how women do life is emotionalism. It's not, as I've said before, it's like women prioritize emotion before reason. Men prioritize reason before emotion. Women will lose their shit when I say that, but the fact of the matter is that that's men being natural, innate problem solvers. You have to teach men to be emotional. You have to teach men to be weesh. You have to teach men to be pussies. You have to teach men to be bear and cow. They have to learn how to do shit like that. They have to learn that, oh, what do women really want? How can I give it to you? I gotta ask you out. How may I meet you? That's the so you want to talk about how men are emotional? Yeah, well they are because they've been taught by a gynocentric social order. But from a biological, from an innate evolutionary perspective, men prioritize reason before emotion. It's not that men can't be emotional; they can. It's just it comes in a different order. So. But for women, it's emotionalism and then how we're going to solve the problem, right? If at all. There's a reason why that little clip, it's not about the nail. There's a reason why that's funny, because women don't want a solution to their problems. They would rather sit there and wallow in self-pity. They would rather hypoagency. Don't take the nail out of my forehead. I want to talk about it. It's not about the nail. No, it's absolutely about the fucking nail. No, it's not. And if you take the nail out of my head, then I won't have anything to talk to you about and bitch and complain about, and we can't have conversations. And then so what do guys do? Okay, I'll sit here and I'll be a good listener. Maybe I'll get my dick sucked if I just sit here and just patronize you and tell you that it's really not about the nail, and maybe something will happen and something will change, and it never fucking does until either I get up off the couch or I grab that fucking nail and I pull it out of your head. And now we can go on and move on to the next chapter of our lives, right? But the reason why is because women prioritize emotion before reason. Being reasonable is pulling the nail out of the head. Being emotional is leave the nail in the head and go, okay, sure. So I didn't understand this, but I kind of understand it now. This is my Aaron Clary moment, okay? I remember when I was probably I think it was in my 20s. My grandfather was still alive, and I can remember being at family functions and stuff. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother and my would be on my dad's side. So my dad was one of four children, right? Two daughters and two sons, right? And so there's a lot of in and out between like the aunts and the uncles and everything else and stuff like that. So the women would always be talking about this and and so. Sometimes the men would interject and they would be talking and stuff. And I was fascinated by all this because here I am like 10 years old, right? And I would see my grandfather be across it, and he would be just like this. That's all he would do. And I was like, and I would catch like my eye, my grandfather's eye across the room, and he'd be just like, that's all. Like they would say something, he was just, because I think he got to the point, and this is my theory. He got to the point in life, he goes, there's no reason, like why talk? You know, like you don't get it. It only prolongs this whole fucking madness. That you just go, mm-hmm. And now, as an adult, being older myself, I 100% understand why that was the response. I didn't say it's the right response, but it's like, I get it. I fucking get it. I get it, grandpappy. I get it, granddad. You know, yeah, I could do that. I'll duly noted. I'll put that in the great big book of everything, and we'll cover that. Remember that. We should do that. Why are you phasing out the term AFC? It's been phased out. I didn't do it. It's just kind of is passé now. I find it accurately describes a class of guy we all know. Also, you've seen this series, Your Friends and Neighbors. Oh, yes, I have. I watched that fucking show religiously. I love Friends and Neighbors. John Hamm was great in Mad Men. He is fucking way over the top good in Friends and Neighbors. He's just a good actor altogether. Friends and Neighbors is awesome. there's a lot of alpha / red pill lessons to be learned from it. It's kind of an, I don't want to give it away too much, but it's sort of an expose into like the lifestyles of the rich and famous, the idle rich, I think maybe would be the better term for it. Essentially, okay, I'll spoiler alert. Essentially what happens is John Hamm's character, Coop, he loses his job. He gets fired for fucking for having an affair, for fucking the one of the secretaries or something, one of the orderlies or something. And not that it mattered. It's just they wanted to get him out. They wanted to find a way to get him out, and he fucked up. And so that was their way of kicking him out. And he's already been divorced from his wife. His kids live with his wife, but he still has a very, very good relationship with his wife. He even fucks her a few times, even though they're divorced, right? So he doesn't know what he's going to do. How he's going to earn some money. He's got savings, but he doesn't have that much. And you got to remember, the guy lives in like the Hamptons or like in a really rich area of like New York kind of area. And so he's got a lot of bills to pay. So what does he do? He becomes a thief. And he goes and he robs things from like people in this upscale neighborhood that he lives in. And he's also helped out by one of the housekeepers that work in the area, so that they know when they're going to be there or not. But then he'll like rip off a Rolex, because they have like the guys that he knows have like multiple Rolexes, and they'll never miss this one. Yep. And it's funny because it's true. The rich buy these really like crazy shit, and then it might be like the last one was like a $300 or $300,000 baseball card. And you would never know that it's a $300,000 baseball card, but the guy who's a baseball card collector didn't care that he didn't never notice that it's gone, right? Because he has so many of them. And so it's like what the rich do with their money is they buy really expensive shit, and then they forget about what they bought, right? So then what does he do? He's got somebody that like he goes to a pawn shop, and he makes a relationship with her, and then you get it back out in the market and make money off of it. That's how the whole thing works. And then there's this sort of Breaking Bad element to it. It's very much Pulp Fiction. Like he gets into these, and you're like, oh fuck, how's he going to get out of this, right? And it's a very good series, I think, just in general, but also the guy's a fucking man's man too. He nails lots of different chicks in this. He's an older dude. He's definitely in his 50s certainly probably in real life, but also in the show itself. But nothing slows him down. Like and by the way, not just fucking other like rich women, but also like chicks in the clubs, and other things as well. Silver Fox. Yeah, he makes it happen for himself. But yeah, it's a real. I really love Friends and Neighbors. I think it's a great show. Is it technically a red pill show? No, but there's a few little nuggets of wisdom in there, I think, that are pretty good if you're there for them. Why did I phase out at AFC? I don't think I did. I just think it just sort of lost relevancy, and people it's old school. It's because it's really mystery method terminology. Average frustrated chump is what AFC means. Okay. It's easier for me to just say average men, because they're pretty much frustrated, and a lot of them are chumps, right? So I use the term, I've switched over to just when I refer to guys who are like, I don't even really like to use beta male very much anymore, or even blue pill guys. I just use average men. You'll notice that ever since I started, was it Player's Handbook, and then in through Reignite, and then if you look at my my essays on Substack, I don't use AFC. I only very rarely use the term beta male, only when I think it specifically applies, because I think by using the term average male, people get what I'm saying. Their average male is beta. Average male is blue pill. Average male is a closet feminist, sneaky fucker. Right? Average men don't get it. There's guys who fuck, and there's guys who don't fuck. It's easy. That's easy to understand. Like, you didn't get the sports fucking gene. I think it's easier to understand average male, right? When I talk about the 80, 20, 4.5% rule, the 80%ers, those are the average. That's average guys. The 20%ers, they're still kind of average, but they're less average than the 80%ers, right? They're the guys that might do. In fact, to be in the 80%ers, you should envy them. At least they know where they're at, right? The 20%ers still think they got a shot. The 4.5%ers, they're the ones that are doing. They're the guys who fuck. They're the guys who are doing the fucking, right? It's not that 20%ers don't. They do, but they're not as enthusiastically as say the 4.5%ers. But so, how do I describe that? How do I put that into literature? How do I make an abstract, a colloquialism that people are going to understand? Average guys. So that's why I start using that. And it sounds a little less, I think, confrontational, attacking. I think AFC sounds like I'm average frustrated chumps. You don't want to be one of them. But if I say average men, as Mike Rashid has said, fuck average. Yes. So that's why I changed that up. I mean, that was a personal thing that I did because I felt like I was being a little bit more hostile by using AFC than I was average men. And maybe it's still relevant. I don't know. But I think that it's more, it describes the whole rather than, it sounds like I'm mad at betas, which I'm not. In fact, I've got a whole series. It's in Positive Masculinity, in the third book. Don't hate the beta. You should not hate the beta males. We need those guys. You should not. You don't have to pity beta males. You just have to know what they are. Right? Beta men have a great utility for guys who are alpha or whatever. Average men have a utility for guys who are not or extraordinary, above average guys. Right? And that's my bread and butter is average guys. I want to talk to average guys because I don't want them to lift themselves up from that averageness. So I think I changed it. I changed the vernacular since Player's Handbook because I wanted it to be a little bit more broad in scope. I think checks mourn over a dead husband more than you think. It sucks. Checks. Oh yeah. Thank you, Steve-O. Good old Rolo. Been a minute. Who's it? Oh, Uncle Luke's. I think this is random, but let's go Knicks. How the Knicks doing right now? Are they in?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't keep up with basketball.
Yeah, Mike's the one that keeps up. I keep up with hockey. Mike keeps up with basketball. Mike probably doesn't even know that the fucking the Knights are in the fucking Stanley Cup right now, but maybe he does. When I did the first interview with Rashad McCants, it was me and him and Sean Kelly, and we talked some good shit. But when we brought Rashad back in, it was me, Mike, and Rashad. Mike knows his basketball, man. He speaks that language for the first hour. I'm just like, yeah. And then we got into other topics as well. But I'm glad he speaks basketball fluently. And after a while, you get tired of being the farm boy and you want to become the Dread Pirate Roberts. Yes. Sometimes you got to hoist the black flag, the skull and crossbones, spit on your hands and slit some throats, man. Yes. Yes, you do. Some people will get that reference. Yes. Where are we at? Oh, we're at the 3-hour mark. Okay. I'm just going to throw out a couple of things here just really quickly. I don't want to go too much over. But I would be remiss if I don't put this out. Oh, there it is. Here we go. You guys ready for sex, drugs, and rock and roll?
Ended in a very bitter breakup. What did you learn through that period of your life?
Well, first of all, I entered the conservative media space thinking that it was something that it wasn't. And I lived a life that wasn't traditional. I lived a life that wasn't preparing me for a real marriage. It was a lot of sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Let's be clear. Sex with Destiny. Sex with Andrew Tate. Sex with Tommy Robinson. Yeah, Tommy Robinson. Let's see who else. Can't even think of it. But let's also just to state for the record, Your Honor, rumor has it, allegedly, that Southern and Destiny are dating again. That they're together right now. They're bumping fuzzies. I don't know what the fuck to call it. Right? It's sickening to think. But yeah, apparently they're the baby trap. The baby trap has resurfaced. So let's be honest here, Lauren. The sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We have to name some names here, because if I'm going to name them for Michaela Peterson, I'm sure it's fucking going to name them for you. So
the conservative space, but that's something I learned along the way, is that a lot of this is performative, as well as the trad life stuff you see online. I went, and when I was married, it was not a healthy situation, but I was sitting and posting on Instagram pies that I was baking, saying I've never been happier, because that's what I wanted.
no, you weren't. Actually, you were wearing your wedding ring 8-9 months afterwards on Tim Pool's show. That's why you got pissed off at me, because all it took was me posting that on on my Twitter of all places. And guess what? That's when all the shit hit the fan, and I hit a nerve. I don't know how I hit a nerve. I didn't realize the kind of nerve I hit, but I put that on there, and that's when you decided to come clean finally afterwards, because you'd been nailed, and you realized that I was talking to your ex-husband, Aaron McCready. We know who he is. We know that I've been talking to him. I've already done this show. I'm not going to do it again. We already know that everything that I said, what was going on back in spring, March, April of 2023, May of 2023, is true. Every last bit of it. And I am so overjoyed that she is crazy enough and psychotic enough and a pathological personality enough to actually consider having a debate with Rachel Wilson and or Andrew Wilson, because they are going to just nail your ass to the wall on so many things. You might want to reconsider, Lauren. I'm just professional, advice right now. This is not going to end well for you. And no one is going to give you the pity that you think you deserve at this point. You are persona non grata. You might as well, here's some good advice. Just go fuck Destiny. Just move to Miami. Here's what you do. Give your son back to his father, who actually cares about him and who has been trying to get custody of him since December of 2022. Ask me how I fucking know. Give him back. You're a shit mother anyways. It's kill the party, baby. Obviously it is. He's better off with dad. Go party, go have fun, go do whatever the fuck you psychos do with Destiny in Miami, and just disappear. That would be good. The world will be a better place without you. Guaranteed. There you go. My professional opinion. But let's keep going.
Reality to be, and that's how I wanted other people to think about me. And I think we forget that people are doing this on a political level as well. We know everyone's editing their photos on Instagram. We know everyone's doing certain poses to look a certain way.
And but not everybody is wearing their wedding ring 9 months after they've been divorced on Tim Pool's show after she's on a Chardonnay bender.
But people are politically posing themselves to be of ideological sects, whether it be Christian, because you get a lot of money and accolades for doing that, or a communist. And they're not living these ways. They're living
now I understand the Destiny appeal.
If they're an activist for Greenpeace, they're flying in private jets. This is just another aspect of that is going on in the right-wing sphere, is the trad life LARPing. And I did that. I was essentially, not intentionally, I was lying to my audience about what reality was, because that's...
Well, I'm glad you finally copped to that. What else were you lying about, Lauren? Let's see. Banging Destiny, having not just banging Destiny, like borderline personality disorder, like narcissistic personality disorder, like, I mean, just like freak job level crazy infatuation with Destiny. Okay. The guy who's supposed to be in the enemy camp, you have no political affiliation. Everything's a LARP for you. Everything is your entire fucking life is a lie. Your entire life is a LARP. You don't even know who the fuck you are. Why are you on Piers Morgan? Why are you even having this conversation with anybody? No one cares about you. What do you hope to accomplish with this? That's my whole thing is like, why do this? Do you think you're going to get back in people's good graces? Do you think you're going to go get a speaking spot at TPUSA? Do you think you're going to turn some money off of this? Like you have this manifesto, you got this whatever your tell-all book and everything that essentially admittedly confirms everything that your ex-husband told me that was going on. Would you like me to show you those? I will be happy to go get those screen caps for you if you'd like, Lauren.
That's what I wanted it to be, because I didn't want to be a proof of concept gone wrong for the ideology I had promoted for 10 plus years and essentially ruined my life for, got banned from countries for, arrested, questioned under the Terrorism Act. I didn't want me to be a proof of concept gone wrong, the same as detransitioners.
You got questioned under the Terrorism Act because Tenet Media was funded by Russian political influence money. That's why you got, let's just fucking put that out there. Whatever. I don't know what happened about that. You could be like you and Lauren Chen could have very easily, done whatever. I have no idea what the fuck happened with that. But what I do know is Tenet Media is no longer there anymore. Everybody was so proud of that. And I should also point out that Tenet Media, the one and only documentary that you did, was very anti-manosphere, very anti-red pill, courtesy of you going off with Alex from Date Psych as well. So don't give me this bullshit about how you started the manosphere and how you started the red pill and how you're influential. No, you hated that from the rip, from the jump, man. Don't give me that bullshit. You are full of shit. You are a pathological liar. Go away.
Get kicked out of the left because they're proof of concept gone wrong, right? We ignore the people who fail these things because we want simple solutions and ideologies that always work, but that is not real life.
There you go. Thank you, Lauren, for being upfront and letting us know that I was right. I've got, I'm going to drag this out. I have to do this. Sorry, guys. I have to do this. This is just, show's not going to, I can't end the show until these once again have to be put on display. I don't think a lot of people understand. Where'd it go? There we go. These were transcripts. I've got dozens of these. I thought these were the most damning, so I decided to bring these up. This is from June 11th, 2023, after she did her come to Jesus moment video about how she actually was divorced. This is from her ex-husband, Aaron McCready. Lauren uses people to get what she wants. She comes across sincere about this, as she doesn't realize she is doing it. Basically, once your utility is done, she just forgets about you. That's why she has very few friends and struggles to maintain relationships with people of any kind. Destiny was her ticket to getting back into the YouTube game as a somewhat reformed alt-writer. In my opinion, I'd received information that they were hanging out a lot there in the U.S. for the travel ban, when the travel ban was lifted. They then started sleeping with each other as he is in some kind of relationship like that, or open relationship like that. We already know that. Lauren then got pregnant, and it was a girl. They then just started formalizing the relationship, as I guess there is a kid involved. I don't know what was happening to this child or anything moving forward since. However, I have since been told that she is seeing Tim Pool and he has given her a job or something, which I don't know for a fact. Tim's a good friend of mine. I don't want to make it, instigations here. But the working part would have explained the Tenet Media thing. Because Tim Pool was very much involved with Tenet Media. Lauren Chen was also involved with Tenet Media. Maybe they weren't seeing each other, but I do know for a fact that Tim Pool was heavily involved in the Tenet Media thing. But that's not the point. The point is that's the first time I was made aware that she was fucking Destiny. And when I pointed this out, that's when all this bullshit about, faked, I shouldn't say that, very well forged documents of, ultrasounds for some quote unquote fake baby. And then they knew I was never going to post those things. And then they finally came out and you got rolled, Rollo, you got fucking trolled, blah, blah, blah. No, I didn't. I didn't get trolled because what this was a very elaborate collusion to draw attention to discredit me, but to also draw attention away from the fact that they were fucking, that they were a thing. that they were not just a thing. They were she was obsessed with the guy, as we know now from all the text leaks, from all of the Kiwi Farms text leaks. They're all out there. All of it is public knowledge. Everybody's got it. Andrew, I love you to death. Please, for the love of Christ, nail this bitch to the wall. Like, that's all you want to end the debate. Bring that up. You want to end the debate. You want her to go away. You want to finally put her in the ground. That's how you do it. If it's not you, Rachel Wilson, this is also how you do it. Just bring this shit up. So was Rollo right about you having did you have a child? Because now we already know they were fucking. The other allegation from Erin McCready was that there was a child was born and there was a girl. And she doesn't know what happened to it. I don't know necessarily. Maybe it wasn't born. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's still hearsay. I don't know for sure. I'm not saying I do. I'm just showing you what I've seen. And up to this point, everything that Erin McCready has told me has been 100% verified and reliable. Time to put that part to rest. You want her to go away? That's how you do it. So I'm just going to leave you guys with that. I thought that was when she's coming back on Piers Morgan and just getting play on. You know how many times I've been called by Piers Morgan, man, and I got ghosted. And they're like, fuck that guy. Destiny looks like that Todd average guy. Yeah, but this guy, wait, here's Destiny. I think we're being a little bit unkind to Todd. Yeah. Funny. Now I get why Tim Pool was defending her on X. Could be. I don't know. That was the thing. Here I got one more. I got maybe I should just do this here at the end. That one, and then this one. Hang on. Oops. Oh, I can just drag and drop it. Hang on. It is this one. How about that? Okay, this is the other part. This is I have the other continuation of this. Lauren was drunk and resisted. This is the whole thing with Andrew Tate. Told him that he had to stop, and then locked her legs together. Tate put her in a headlock and started to choke her out, telling her to open her legs. When he was finished, he said, "So what? I raped you. You can't do anything about it. Fuck off." She was traumatized by this, no doubt. And a few days later had a cocaine bender in London with Tommy Robbins and her film crew. In the process, she got wasted again and gave Tommy Robinson a blowjob, despite him being married. Apparently, he told her they were splitting up. I don't know if that happened. She was ashamed of all this, and we had a long, detailed conversation about this, as she would be in tears about it, as I was going to come out on social media over different times. I remained supportive and caring. It was before they were together. She got married when she was 22 to Aaron. She is a self-inflicted damaged woman mate, because he's Australian. For all the fame, it's actually sad. Okay, so that was another. So that was part of the Tate thing that she was saying. And by the way, I'm not revealing anything that's new. You can find all of this in her book. I mentioned this last September when all this shit went down. I don't know why I have to do this again. I didn't really want to do this again, but Piers Morgan, you put her on, and Andrew Wilson, I support you no matter what, but like, at least bring this up. I'm happy to give you these transcripts. I will give you everything I have collected since 2023 about all this bullshit, and you could just put her in the ground, man. Put her in the ground. I'd be happy to help you. I will gleefully, I will be overjoyed to help you do this. So put her on notice. I've got my folder right here. Anytime you're ready. Let's see. Okay, that's about good. Is there any more left? I think we're done. Thanks, Sammy. Okay, that's good enough. Guys, what else do we have going on? Access Vegas coming up on Wednesday, and I will be. God damn it! This is not my proudest moment, but maybe it'll be fun. I don't know. I thought Rashad McCants was going to be kind of a weird interview. It turned out to be one of the best interviews I ever did, and he's a really good guy. I will be doing an interview with Puma Swede. Not Lisa Sparks, Puma Swede. Hey, I got Puma Swede. Now we can graduate. I've graduated. I've leveled up from Lisa Sparks to Puma Swede. So now here's what I want you guys to do. You have to give me the same wedding pictures and the same honeymoon pictures in Las Vegas with Rollo Tomassi and Puma Swede. I expect that before next show, okay? Just like you did with Lisa Sparks, you got to do it for Rollo Tomassi and Puma Swede, and we'll put the best ones up when we see next week, okay? So I'm going to be doing that. Feels like Andrew Wilson could have done better. But perhaps. But I think he did okay. I don't think he got schooled or anything. A lot of people say, look, you're finally seeing him he's being defeated by Lawrence Southern. No, he's not, because it's Pierce Morgan. There's nothing to defeat, man. All she wanted the whole reason she did this is just, it's catharsis for her. She just wanted to absolution from all this, and she's never going to get it because she's psychotic, man. So anyways, I'll be on with Puma Swede on Wednesday. And then I'm going to do Access Vegas, which is going to be a pretty big show for us. We're entering the summer months right now. So all of our Access Vegas shows are going to be probably jumbo sized. And I mean that in many different ways. And we will, so the other part is, as you saw earlier in the show, the sizzle reel for Reignite. I wanted to do that. I've got another one coming up that if you watch Access Vegas on Wednesday, I'm going to start the show with a sizzle reel of Reignite and what we did in Miami, because one of the things I really feel like we kind of dropped the ball on this is like MOA, like Mike's guys are there. We're there. We finally had a film crew with us this time. We had really good professionally shot pictures. If you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you'll know how great it was. Shout out to Masha. And it was such a good time. And I feel like we don't really have like sizzle reels or anything like that. And so I want people to, like, we talk it up all the time. We say, this is the best event. It's Miami's a white party. It's so fucking great. I want people to see that, even if it's just like a 30 to 45 second, sort of buzz reel. So I've got that coming up. I'll have that on Access Vegas so you guys can get an idea. But again, the reason why I'm putting that out there is because in August 5th through the 7th, we're going to be doing another Reignite event. It'll be here in Las Vegas for Las Vegas Swim Week. We have Babes in Toyland on August 6th. That is probably the biggest one on this coast. Like Miami, white party in May. In Vegas, it's Swim Week, August 6th here in Las Vegas. And this is the event that like women will fly from all parts of the world to be on. Well, they're here for the swim. They're modeling swimwear, so go sue me. It's one of the best times to be in Vegas. It's high season and it's just a lot of fun. Again, it's us putting guys into that environment, helping guys sort of meet women. Again, we were talking about earlier on, I had a guy asking me about like, hey, how can we organize stuff in the local level? I don't live where you are, so if I did, I might be able to come up with some ideas. But I have a brilliant idea. You could just pay for the event. You don't have to even be a member of Reignite. I want you to be a member of Reignite. But when we do events, you can pay for just the event and show up at the event and have a good time, right? Because we know that if you show up to the event and have a good time, you're going to want to be a member. So if you're curious about how you can sort of apply this kind of stuff, whether it's Mike's social circle game or you just want to be in an environment where you can actually put your social skills to work and you can like talk to one of the things that we do in Reignite is we have usually it's the night of or it's the day before. We have these mock conversations like Joe and I know we have a group of girls that we can have come in at a moment's notice. And what we do is we do mock conversations between the guys who are in Reignite and these girls, right? All of them are very nice, very sweet women. And they'll have the conversations with these guys who are just kind of trying to work their social skills back up. And so we'll be there, and we'll have, like, we run certain scenarios. Like sometimes we'll say, okay, be really welcoming and open. And then on the next conversation, it's going to be, okay, be kind of standoffish. So the guys can sort of figure out like how to break the ice, how to get through and stuff. Those are mock conversations that we have so that those guys can learn those skills so they don't feel like they're unprepared when they go out into the field, right? So we do stuff like that to really prepare dudes. I've got guys for style. I've got Christian Baum from Jackson Maximus. I've got this new guy, Bronx, who's actually done a new suit for me. I can't wait to show you guys this new suit. I just got it. They fitted it for me before I had the bag on at that time, and so I got fitted for it way back in like March, and I just got the suit now. It's fantastic. As pinstripe, it's a white, kind of cream white pinstripe suit. I'm thinking about wearing it to Babes in Toyland because it's such a great suit. Thank you for bringing up Friends and Neighbors, because John Hamm's style in that fucking show, that's what I want. We need to get Roland needs to stop dressing like a 14-year-old. Okay. I want to dress like fucking John Hamm in Friends and Neighbors, because he's on point every fucking episode. So look for a style change real soon, right? Oh, when are you going to take the beanie off? Would you like me to take it off now? I'll be happy to take it off right now. Nah, you have to pay for that. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. All it costs you is $100 super chat, and I'll take the beanie off. It's no big deal to me anymore. I shave my head. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped today. I kind of felt like this movie, although it was supposed to be a horror movie, was a really good example of a lot of red pill perspectives. I also think that like a lot of people misinterpret it too. Like Rob Henderson, who's clearly his bias is towards like sort of beating down the little guy, beating down the incel, right? Well, easy targets, man. Come after me, man. Come after guys who can pick on someone of your own. So, we'll have that discussion. See, that's the thing is, maybe I'll just leave you with this. One of the things that I think is the strengths of the Manosphere is we will have a conversation with you. Imagine that. We're happy to have a conversation. That's the best part about the Manosphere. We're not going to ignore you. We're not going to say, hey, I think those guys are really fakes and phonies and everything. Okay. Here's the table. Put a chair over here. We can go to Origin, wherever the fuck you want to go. I'll be happy to have that conversation with you about anything. Will Costello, you want to talk? I'm very nice. I'll be very, very complimentary. We can have a discussion about the Alpha Widow dynamic, which is something I coined. I think you would want to come to the source. I'll be happy to tell you about it. Great. That's the thing. We're available. We're accessible. The Manosphere will have those conversations and those discussions. It's not an echo chamber. We're happy to have you come and challenge us on whatever the fuck it is that you want to challenge us on. But you can't do that and still maintain your straw man tactics of setting us up, building us up for what you think we are, and then knocking us down again. So if I have a disagreement about how you interpret this movie, about how it's all about incels and men are cowards and everything. Okay, I'll give you some of that, but let's look at some other parts in here that you're not talking about and probably not talking about deliberately. We will have that discussion. We will have that conversation. Mike and I have been, like, Mike's got his new, here's another announcement. Mike's got his new podcast that he's doing semi-regularly. I don't know that he has a regular schedule for it. He's been doing it on Fridays, and I think he might do it on Tuesdays too. But so I'm going to start doing more midweek stuff, but Access Vegas is my midweek for this week. So, but he's starting to get into it. We're having some fucking great conversations with a lot of great people, but all the people who want to knock our dick in the dirt, they don't want to talk to us. You guys accuse us of having a fucking echo chamber, and yet you're not going to come over here and we'll say, hey, we'll open the echo chamber. Come on in. Let's have that discussion. No, it's okay. Mute. Block. We're never going to have that conversation with Steve Bartlett. We're never going to have that with Jay Shetty. They won't even say our fucking names on there. It'll never fucking happen. So, and I'm okay with that now. I guess I kind of have to be okay with that. But anyways, for what it's worth, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Kyle, thanks for coming in today. Great show. I'm glad we bounced some ideas because you saw the show too. So it was really good to get your opinion, your side of it. So, guys, I will see you on Puma Swedes OnlyFans TV on Wednesday. And then I don't know if it's a live stream. It might be. If it's a live stream, you're damn well going to know it's a live stream because I'm going to tell you. But Access Vegas, 6 p.m., 6 p.m. On Wednesday Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. This is going to be a good one. We have a lot. We have new chicks. I was just looking at the roster of the girls that we have. We have a lot of new girls on this one. So we will see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. I'll see you next week. Be good.
Would you do it again? I need to feel you on top of me. It was my first time, but I was
Ain't nobody got time for that.
when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same. Time came by when over like a matchbox stereo. Time to get my thoughts now. Let go.
I'm attacking the darkness.
Goddamn right. Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up every wall while I got your hair. Why you screaming my name?
That's nasty. It is nasty, right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.
She was swinging in the bedroom, whole time stopping and slipping with her hair. Like she's calling you Kelly.
Well, I'm a whore.
Ride me up and down like a pony. Turning up my song, getting messy. Working up and down on your body. Ride me. Guilty. Turning up my song on your body. Baby, we get down to it all night. But maybe we can fuck. Maybe things we different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know. And baby, we can fuck again. Then maybe things we different. Goddamn, baby, one more again.
Preceding podcast has been a production of The Rational Mail. All rights reserved. Register trademark 2026. Don't steal Ned stuff.
She's not a Christian.
Tell that bitch to be cool. Say, bitch, be cool. Say, bitch, be cool.